K. Dick has had his novels turned into several popular movies, but none as popular as Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the 1968 novel which was adapted loosely into Blade Runner in 1982. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Philip K. Dick turned a hard-boiled detective story into a futuristic sci-fi novel that raised questions about artificial intelligence, human intelligence, and basic morality in a world where both exist. Since the androids are the servants, generally involuntarily, of human beings, this raises basic questions about freedom and slavery. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep takes place in a future dystopia polluted by a nuclear war and where most life is unsustainable. This means other planets have to be colonized, and animals are increasingly rare and expensive. In fact, they're a symbol of status. The androids are manufactured on Mars, however they rebel and 6 of the new Nexus model escape to Earth. Overshadowed by the future film adaptation, was one of the cornerstone texts of the new sci-fi movement, as well as what would become cyberpunk.
Blade Runner, inspired by a classic Philip K. Dick novel, is a new challenge for Scott, in which he creates a unique vision of a possible future society, its technology, its people, and those who control them.
A Blade Runner is a kind of slang terminology for bounty hunter, or an official exterminator, bureaucratic exterminator.
Blade Runner was directed by Ridley Scott, fresh off of directing Alien in 1979. 2 versions of the screenplay had existed by the time Ridley Scott, who had just quit Dune, got involved. The first version by Robert Jaffe, the producer Herb Jaffe's son, had turned Philip K. Dick off enough that it was scrapped. The second version by Hampton Fancher was focused more on the environmental side of the novel rather than questions of humanity, and Ridley Scott wanted that rewritten. He hired David Peoples to rewrite the script, which caused Fancher to quit, although he eventually came back to rewrite parts of Peoples' script. At this point, Philip K. Dick got concerned that he wasn't part of that process or even informed about the project. However, after reading the screenplay and seeing a special effects reel, he was satisfied. From there, casting became a bit of a mess. Dustin Hoffman was approached and then backed out of playing Deckard. Everyone from Gene Hackman to Arnold to Peter Falk to Clint Eastwood were considered. However, after seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars, Ridley Scott decided to cast Harrison Ford.
There was a bit of contest between Ridley and I over whether or not Deckard, the character I played, was a replicant or not, and Ridley preserved his options, and he did at the end indicate with one little bit of origami that Deckard may in fact be a replicant. For myself, I felt that it was important for the audience to have a human representation on screen that they could identify with.
They would end up tangling as production got underway, including over the impromptu voiceover narrations. Rutger Hauer was cast as the lead android Roy Batty because of his collaborations with Verhoeven.
Cover your right eye, please. E. O. D. Your other eye, please. E.
Other actors in Blade Runner include Edward James Olmos as Gaff, who would help create the city-speak language he speaks, M. Emmett Walsh, Joe Turkel as Dr. Tyrell, Sean Young as Rachel, and Joanna Cassidy as Zora. Many of the special effects of Blade Runner were developed in the filming of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was one of the best practical effects movies of the time, with everything from miniatures to matte paintings, motion-controlled cameras, and reshoots with layered lighting.
It does a particular thing. It actually flies, lifts off the ground, lots of dust.
This is the interior spinner set. When we shoot the exterior of the spinner, none of this interior exists. This is strictly a set constructed for interior shooting of all of the readouts and all the detail on the exterior vehicles that you see driving around in the streets. None of this detail of interior is here. And one of the problems we have today is that on screens like this, where there will be readouts of movies, digital displays, maps, etc., for maneuvering the vehicle, it was just impossible because of the design of the vehicle to put in rear projection or live video screens or have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 or 13 screens of information going on simultaneously. So what we've done is we've just lit these screens with white light from inside.
Blade Runner is famous for having 7 different cuts, including a work print, sneak preview, theatrical, directors, final, and broadcast. The central theme of the movie is the overwhelming power of the biomedical industry on androids called replicants and society at large. Tyrell Industries, controlled by Dr. Tyrell, dishonest about its intentions and really faces no consequences, despite the replicants having escaped and needing a police force to track and retire them. There's still no consequences for the fact that Dr. Tyrell is secretly developing even harder to track replicants who don't know they're replicants.
Commerce is our goal here at Tyrell. More human than human is our motto.
There are profound moral questions raised by Blade Runner, which only get more prescient as AI becomes a central technology now. What is a human being really, as opposed to being a replicant? The thing separating them is a lack of emotion programmed into the replicants. However, it is theorized that over time, as the replicants get more advanced, they will develop their own feelings. An answer, according to Dr. Tyrell, is possibly to implant memories, which trick replicants into believing they're humans, so they'll act like a human. But then what separates them from a human?
Implants. Those aren't your memories. They're somebody else's. They're Tyrell's nieces.
Blade Runner takes place in 2019, which prompted a round of What Did Blade Runner Get Right journalism in 2019. Many things are prescient, including the style of futuristic but familiar policing.
Have you ever retired a human by mistake?
No.
However, the last thing I'd like to bring up is that one of the last big changes that the Philip K. Dick novel and movie have is the Earth itself, which instead of being the result of a nuclear blast, seems to be the result of climate catastrophe. But by 1982, climate and the environment was in much more danger. In 2023, Blade Runner feels just as timely as ever, and I'm excited to talk about it.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain.
Anyway, before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Also, we are now monetized, so if you have any pressing questions during this live stream, send us a super chat, which helps me keep the show running, and which I am obligated by international law, human rights law, to answer. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. All of our after parties are on there forever. Okay, let me introduce the panel. Conan Neutron, host of Protonic Reversal, co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, and frontman for Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends has a new split LP with Lung, Adult Prom, available now on Bandcamp. And it's Conan's birthday tonight. Happy birthday, Conan. Jay Andrew World, illustrator, book cover artist, artist for Gives Him an Argument, co-host for Movie Night Extravaganza, and Bad Takes. Christina Oakes, This Barbie is streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cosmopolitics, Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Cosmopolitics. Send her some subs on Twitch. Bonnie Burton is a former social media strategist for Lucasfilm and senior editor at StarWars.com, is a writer, journalist, author, and podcaster on The Night Shift with Jenna Hayes and Renee Ruin. I, of course, am your host, Forrest Miller, who is also a replicant. Or am I? Am I human? Am I a replicant? Watch to find out.
Gonna keep you in suspense.
The truth is, I don't even know myself.
I mean, exactly.
Are these false memories?
How's your origami game? That's what I
well, her false memories were like, yo, my brother showed me his dick in a barn. So, like, who knows? You know, like the memories could be anything.
Can we talk about that quote? Because I always forget that quote's in there, and I'm like, wait, that's a really creepy thing to
Why
say.
that memory? Why that one? Why is? I mean, clearly you have to choose.
Of all the memories he could have chosen, he chose that one. And
Yeah,
also
extreme trauma. Yeah.
I want to know how she got did he sit down with his niece and go, look, just tell me 5 things about you, and she's like, one time my brother took out his dick in a barn, and I was supposed to show my crotch, but I didn't, and I ran, and he's like perfect.
Spiders I get because that's kind of goth and fun, but like possible molestation from your brother, I don't know if that's something I would want to pass on to an android, or to pass on in general, or to tell a stranger, or to share with my uncle. It just anyway, sorry.
Well, we're off
He's
to a
like-
banging
he's like-
start. Welcome back, Bonnie. It's been a bit. It's good to have you.
You're already regretting it. I can tell in your face.
No, I could see, because he's such a creepy guy. I could see you sit there and be like, so is there any like date rape in your past or anything that we can?
Yeah, like I was
into the
thinking
show
what
about?
my
Like,
what memory I would have, and I'd be like giving a hug to George R. R. Martin at Comic-Con, and going to my first goth concert, and maybe
I think Andy has a memory
I don't
like
know,
that.
kissing a girl for the first time. Not that stuff. Not whatever. Anyway.
Well, let me be the first to thank Flavor Flav for wishing me a happy birthday. It's much appreciated. I wish I was doing more cold lamping than I was today. Unfortunately, I'm not. But I'm cold lamping on this show. And
Happy birthday!
Well, we're gonna have a show that I started to put together. That's you're gonna be lamping harder than that.
I'm cold lamping and I vote.
You're a one-issue voter. More cold lamping.
More cold. The answer we must ask ourselves if we want more or less cold lamping.
Wait, is lamping? Isn't that just going out at night and shooting rabbits, or is this something else?
No, it's like relaxing.
Oh,
it's like cold lamping with Flav. What are you talking?
Lamping, yeah, lamping in England.
Shooting rabbits. What are you?
Yeah.
That moment was brought to you by Watership Down.
Christina, how you doing? Good to see you.
I haven't slept in 36 hours.
Fantastic.
Yay.
So if I seem less talkative, I'm saving all my energy to react to the Barbenheimer interview for later.
All right, there you go. Priorities, people.
We can watch some of the Barbenheimer interview in
Nope.
Dave clips.
Wait until after I stream.
Consummate professional.
I haven't seen anything about it, so I'm keeping it in suspense.
What do you think is going? Like, what you're like? Don't give me any spoilers. What do you think could possibly be there to spoil? They're like,
the
guess
interview
what?
itself, Forrest.
We're having a kid.
They're going to Mars.
They do the Buffalo
Gonna
66. And she's like, they do the Buffalo 66. She's like, I'm pregnant. In the middle of the.
Wait, did we stop talking about Blade Runner? Because now I'm lost.
We certainly did. Yes.
Yeah.
This is so. Look. So first of all, let's just mention that as the premise keeper, I'll mention that this is the first. Awesome.
We have a birthday super chat. Happy birthday, Conan! If people told you you're a dead ringer for the violinist soloist Joshua Bell. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. Cheers.
I actually don't know who that is, but now I'm very curious. This is Movie Night Automata, which is to say not automatopoeia. This is all AI and Robot Month, and we're kicking it off with, frankly, I think the best one of all time and one of my favorite movies of all time, MFN Blade Runner. That's right, people. And if you don't like it, pound sand. Joshua Bell. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what I was so, and I hate to be vain about this. Like, what if this guy's ugly?
He's like
He's
a good-looking
handsome
guy.
enough dude. Yeah. He's got a
Looks like
violin.
he mixed you with one of those comedians. That one kind of awkward comedian that has that.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the guy's name, but
I don't know. Yeah, this guy says he's well dressed. So we're doing the thing where we're kicking it off with the best one, and it's Blade Runner. And I want to kick this off.
I mean, we're back ending because 2001.
Oh, 2001's okay. Yeah, that one's okay too.
Why are we ending with it then if it's just okay?
Really? Are we doing this on air right now? I thought you were redacting yourself for lack of sleep. Anyway, we're closing the year off with a close with 2001, so that's a fantastic one as well. I think this is the rare example as a huge, and I mean huge, Philip K. Dick fan, one of my favorite authors. This is the rare time I think the movie is better than the book.
Yeah,
and it's one of the reasons why is because it's what they take out. Because there's a lot of amazing stuff in Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but it's almost like too much, and I think that's a problem with Philip K. Dick adaptations in general. So that's my thesis statement for this, as far as in relation to the book, which is that I love the book. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I think Blade Runner's better as a movie. Bonnie,
I finished the book last night.
Just got it under the wire. Bonnie, how do you feel about that? I know you're a big fan as well.
Oh yeah, this is my all-time favorite movie, sci-fi movie across the board. And I worked at Lucasfilm for a decade, and I would always say that, and people are like, "What about Star Wars?" I'm like, I'm not saying Star Wars sucks. I'm just saying I like Blade Runner better. And
Well, at least it's still Harrison Ford. Like it's not like you're going way off the reservation here.
Well, I mean, there's bad Harrison Ford movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So I always like this movie a lot. I have every version, and I watch every version every year, and I probably memorized it. I could probably do it in my sleep. I used to watch it right before bed as like a decompression method to just like relax. And yeah, no, I love this movie. I love Sean Young. I love the casting. I love obviously the visuals. Obviously the cinematography is gorgeous. The music, the soundtrack is still one of my favorite.
Oh my God, like all-timer, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's so good.
It's so good, and it's also one of those movies that I think that if you
and we got a really great car design out of it.
Yeah, and if you grew up watching it, here's the thing too, though. I will say there are some Star Wars Easter eggs in it, so hopefully some of you noticed those. But I love this movie.
He cast Harrison Ford based on both Star Wars and Indiana Jones, right? He was telling Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ridley Scott, and was like, "That's our Rick Deckard."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure of the casting lore behind this, but I do know that, it's one of those movies that is kind of a perfect storm of the best people you could possibly get for a movie like this. And I don't know if that is the universe giving us a high five or not, but I do know that this is my favorite Sean Young movie.
She's so good in this, yeah.
My favorite Rutger Hauer movie. It's my Harrison Ford movie. My Edward James Olmos movie.
How great is Edward James Olmos? I actually forgot. I was like, God, his character is so badass.
Can I tell you
he made up the language.
A quick funny story about him?
Sure.
I was my first Comic-Con that I ever took my parents to was Denver Comic-Con, and this is not that long ago. It was pretty recent, but it's before COVID, but it was pretty recent. And I remember I wanted to stand in line. I wanted to show my parents, look, there's famous actors here signing stuff, and he was there. I will, as a side note, I will say, my dad was like, "Why does the Priceline guy have such a long line?" I was like, "That's William Shatner."
AKA the Priceline guy.
Yeah, and also when I asked it, when I told him, like, I explained what cosplay was, and he pointed at a security guard, and he's like, "Is that Law and Order cosplay?" My dad rocks. So anyway, we stood in line for Edward James Olmos, and I was like, I wanted a Blade Runner, signature, because they have their headshots of their most famous movies. And my stepmom, I think, was like, "Oh, you don't have the one I want you to sign." And he's like, "What was that?" And she's like, "I can't remember the movie, but you were an inspirational teacher." And I was just like, "Oh God." Yeah. And so it was like, I think it was one of those like inner city chess club kind of movies. And then my dad, like the Beanfield Wars that he was in, the Milagro Beanfield War. And he was, so it's just fun because he's one of those actors who's done so many different kinds of roles that some people just kind of think of Blade Runner or
Adama, Battlestar Galactica. He's so iconic in that role.
They don't remember, a lot of these people are character actors. And I think this is a good example. This Blade Runner movie has a lot of good character actors. So
also he's younger. I wouldn't say young, but he's younger. He's like one of those guys like Dean Stockwell, those kind of born old. I
think everyone's younger in the 80s. I think that's technically correct.
Yeah, he's young.
And then everyone's older by the end of the 80s because
well, that's just the 80s.
So some of the people that were going to be cast instead of Harrison Ford.
Sure. Give us
Dustin Hoffman was in talks for a long time.
As what?
As Deckard?
Yeah, this is all for Deckard. Gene Hackman, Sean Connery.
Gene Hackman is Deckard?
Yeah, let's slow down.
Can you just see that? Him going like, "Were you picking your toes?"
He's like, "Were you picking your feet on Mars? Were you picking your feet on Mars?"
I mean, he's a great actor, but like that's okay. All right, so let's go back to Dustin Hoffman first of all. Great actor, really at like peak of his power, but that's a different movie. That's not just a different role.
I don't see him in that genre at all.
And also, this is the 80s version of all of these.
Right. And well, Gene Hackman, like we've talked when we talked about what is the conversation. I mean, he was like peak of his game around that time. He's a great actor. I'm not discounting the man's ability, but he also he already was balding. At that point, he was already balding. You know what I mean? So it's like so that Deckard is maybe a little closer to the a little bit closer to the Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep Deckard.
Is the Fred Flintstone version? Yabba Dabba Blade Run.
Who else?
We're not doing that on this. My most favorite of days, my birthday. No way.
All right. So
what were the other ones? Okay.
So Gene Hackman, Sean Connery. Insane movie. That would be an insane movie.
I'm not Scottish. I'm a Blade Runner.
it's okay to slap
I mean,
to slap a female android.
I don't know. I wouldn't be against Sean Connery and Sean Young making out. That would have been hot.
Well, especially that
see,
era.
I could see both. I could see Gene Hackman playing the.
She's a replicant, isn't she?
The Emery role or whatever. Like I could see Gene Hackman playing like the hard-boiled boss or whatever.
Yeah,
like Bryant or whatever. Yeah,
head detective.
So Sean Connery, Jack Nicholson.
Oh wow, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think these are like studio notes. So I don't know how how in depth any of these conversations got.
I mean, Jack Nicholson's probably the one that like doesn't change this fundamentally.
I mean, okay.
He just plays
most,
out
but
everything he does.
Who else?
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
Oh, that's hot. Okay.
I mean, sure.
But he's kind of older in the 80s than like Harrison Ford was.
He was still hot then.
Yeah, he was.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, come on.
No.
Good, Daddy. Make my day.
Tommy Lee Jones, same kind of as Clint Eastwood, I think.
Yeah,
I could see him again playing that Bryant character though.
He could be
interesting though. Like
instead of Edward James Olmos, he'd Tommy Lee Jones. I could see that.
There's one person on this list that I think is amazing, and I'm almost to them.
Okay,
but this isn't them. This Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously, in
Which
the
would be
80s.
fun.
Which, I mean,
but it's a different movie.
The thing is, it's like in the
he did a
early
really
80s,
good job in Total Recall, and that's another Philip K. Dick,
but this is also 1982, like almost a decade before that, and like
when's Terminator's 85? Is that right?
84, I think. But like Conan the Barbarian is like the same.
I'm not
year.
familiar. What's that movie?
Yeah, whatever. But that was kind of his first, that was like his first actual starring role of a good movie. I'm not going to count The Villain or Hercules in New York.
Not being in like The Long Goodbye as like a henchman and uncredited.
But he was one of those guys that the studio really wanted.
It was hard to catch him for a second when I watched it, because I watched The Long Goodbye for the first time this year.
Oh, it's pretty noticeable, especially when they stare down. But anyway,
but but I mean, like at first I was like, where is he gonna be? Where is he gonna be? In the final scene when they strip down, yeah. But like at first they were like flipping past him or whatever, and I was like, is that Arnold? Is that Arnold? Is he?
Speaking of Arnold, Andy, finish up your Arnold material so we can get the.
I was just gonna say he was also up for the role of Superman in 1978. So he was on the minds of people. Yeah, it would have been terrible.
Dutch, right? Is he Dutch? Right?
Austrian.
Austrian. Sorry.
An
Austrian Superman. I think I've heard that movie already. Okay, all right. So Forrest, what's the one you want to lay on us?
Please continue, Forrest.
Peter Falk.
As what?
Peter Falk as Deckard?
Yeah.
Columbo as Deckard?
Shut the front door. Really?
Oh my God.
Okay, now I totally
The
changed
void
my
comp
mind.
test would just be like one more thing.
It's got one more thing I need to ask you.
That tortoise.
He leaves the room and he's like, I gotta ask you one more question.
Yeah,
She fails the test and he's like, I knew it. She's a replicant.
She's a replicant.
My test never fails.
That's not bad, but that's a different movie. And I'm gonna go back to the fact that that would make the character more like the book, where he's a little more.
I was gonna say
rumpled and beaten down.
The whole sequence where they fuck with him in the book, and they try to make him feel like his voight comp test didn't work, right? Like his empathy test.
Yeah.
And they fuck with him, and then he comes back and he does that one last question. He's like, one more thing, and he asks her, like, Rachel, one last question.
Say the line, Falk.
And then he's like, see, my test never failed. I could see Peter Falk just chewing up the scenery that entire.
Oh, sure. No, he would be great,
Yeah.
but it's just it's not Harrison Ford in his prime, ruling the game. So it's different. It's gonna be different. So is it just? Do we have all castings for like Chris or Rachel or?
Yeah, I don't think that there are really other.
By the way, I was low key hoping for some Pris makeup with Christina, but I know she's very busy, so it's.
I got all my four.
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte.
Oh my God! Seriously?
For Deckard?
Are we still on Deckard? Okay.
Yeah. Al Pacino.
Who?
Al Pacino.
No.
Blade Runner starring Rick Moranis.
Is this real studio notes? Or you just, I mean, are these real studio notes?
This is crazy. Like
last one is Burt Reynolds.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what motivated him to do Zardos.
Only Sean Young replaces Sally Field. Then
He's doing his classy thing where he chews gum while he's giving the fucking voight comp test. He's like, oh yeah, do you So how would you feel if you saw a dog?
I would only watch
Burt Reynolds is like too cool for this role.
Okay, let's back up. I would only watch that if like Rooker Hauer's character was replaced by Dom DeLuise. Then I would watch it. Let's just do Cannonball Run with androids.
Cannonball Run with androids.
That's all I want now.
So is this
Edward James almost with the cop that's chasing after them?
So was Sean Young and Daryl Hannah just always that's always who it was going to be, or were they all?
So Daryl Hannah, Stacey Nelkin. Don't.
Daryl Hannah fought for that role though. Like
Good for her. She's great in it.
She dressed as Pris, like as you see in the movie, for the audition to get it. So she fought for that and she got it and she deserves it. So I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear who else was considered because it's just going to be Daryl Hannah from here.
Stacey Nelkin is like she was in Halloween 3. She was in season.
Debbie Harry was the other one.
Debbie Harry was out. Wait, what for? What Pris?
For Pris.
Ooh.
Okay.
Never mind.
I would not have been mad at that, but
yeah, I would not be mad at all.
Huh. Okay. So Dom DeLuise, Debbie Harry. Down. Let's do it.
But what? So Rachel was always Sean Young though. Sean Young was just like.
Yeah, it seems like.
I mean, she's great. She should be, but
they were looking for like a lesser known actress, and
she's so good. I mean, like that role could have been a nothing role. You know what I mean? And that character is so important to the story.
Yeah, it's so like I spent most of my teen and college years trying to replicate that look. So I mean, I was.
She's also a little right now at this point.
I think they all are. No, I'm not going to single out Sean Young as crazy because that's misogynist, but I will say they all are.
Yeah, let's. It's my birthday. Can we not with any of that?
Harrison Ford is a huge ass stoner who was Grace Slick's drug dealer. So let's go there.
Sure. I mean, yeah, Rachel's like one of the all-time.
Joking, by the way, I'm in a documentary called "The Disturbance in the Force," which is a Star Wars holiday special documentary.
Yeah.
I learned a lot by being in that documentary, including if you want to hear some interesting casting.
Who was everybody's connect?
Art Carney was supposed to be Robin Williams right before Mork and Mindy happened, but they didn't want Robin Williams because no one knew who he was at that time.
Right. I got one more crazy one.
There's a little Star Wars-y thing.
I got one more crazy one.
Lay it on.
Okay,
so the William Sanderson J.F. Sebastian character, they also considered Joey Pants.
Hecolato? For real?
Yeah.
Who has another thing? He's always does the same accent, everything he does too. It's just a different accent.
Yeah.
And again, I was talking about this in the group chat that like Sanderson, that dude is like most people these days know him from Deadwood, and his character in Deadwood is great. But if you're of say the age of like Andy and I and Monty, you as well, you're probably gonna be like, oh, that's Larry and his brother Daryl and his other brother Daryl from Newhart. Yeah. But it's the same. He always does the same accent in everything he's in, which is so funny.
I mean,
but so does Joey Pants.
Yeah, the same thing with Joey Pants in The Sopranos. But like we watched Memento, and he does the same accent that entire movie.
The Matrix. He's like, I'm in the future, but look at my accent.
Oh, I'm the future over here.
I was like, I just intrinsically don't trust Ralphie from The Sopranos. Whatever the fuck he's doing, like in the back of this guy's mind.
I guess if you ask him, was Christopher Walken considered?
Oh God.
I was walking around. He wasn't, but I was walking around Kingston a couple days ago, and there was a hair cutting place. Or like a thing, and it said "Walken's Welcome" with a huge picture of Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I've seen that everywhere. Like everybody does that. That's
I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere else.
I just going back to William Sanderson. If you're a Justified fan, he actually played part of the Crow family in the TV series Maximum Bob. So if you remember Dewey Crow, who was in Justified, and then the later seasons, his family shows up. The patriarch of that family is I can't remember which Crow he was, but he basically was the like those characters' father in a different TV show.
Well, he's a that guy. He's a that guy actor, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
But he was like scary in that role, which is weird for him.
I'm not saying he's not a good actor. I'm saying he does the same accent in everything he does, including the fact that like let's talk about Newhart. This is like what it's Maine, right? That they're at, and it's like why do you sound like you're from okay, whatever.
Oh, don't whatever Vermont.
I'm just saying, he sounds like he's from Tennessee, right? So like, and there's sort of like, well, this is a great bit, so we don't care. And like, but I just think that's amazing that like it's never addressed. Oh, he sounds like he's
And I love the fact that like he also was in Batman animated series.
I do declare this is the best Burlington steak I have ever had in my whole life.
I haven't seen Newhart in so long. I used to watch the hell out of that show. I'm not gonna lie. Like no
great
shame.
show.
All
right,
it was
guys,
a great show. It was funny.
Guys, so I have something.
Great.
It's a disease. No, I have a Bobby Wine.
Christina's over it. She just wants to talk about this freaking press conference. Or
I'm tired. I don't want to talk about anything anymore at this point.
All right.
By the way, I should probably put in a disclaimer. I don't know if Harrison Ford actually deals drugs. I don't want that to be my pop-up quote.
Oh no!
You don't want to be the lead in your Wikipedia entry.
Air Force, I swear to God, if you make this a pop-up quote for when you promote this show, I'm going to come and kill you. So I want Lucasfilm on the channel. I'm an ex-Lucasfilm employee, and I
former Lucasfilm social media strategist does the dirt, and it's like Harrison Ford.
If you do this, I will sing Billy Joel throughout this whole thing, so you can't post it.
Changing subject entirely. Kyle MacLachlan is Deckard, yay or nay? I would say yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I'd watch that. All right, so I have Bobby Wine interviewing Harrison Ford.
Great, can't wait to listen to it.
Go for it.
Yes, it's gonna be weird as fuck. I'm sure
it's gonna be weird as fuck, and I clipped the entire thing.
Fantastic.
Because I was
can't wait to see it.
I'm gonna go for
friend of the show, Bobby.
And I don't remember all of it, so this is gonna be a surprise for me too.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna just change my frame. Sorry. Okay. Okay, now.
Ready? Roll it. Well, Harrison, I've been looking forward to seeing you again, and very happy to see Blade Runner. I read a little bit about it, and it's some kind of fantastic movie. Sure. I remember after you did Raiders of the Lost Ark, I saw a little featurette on television, and in that you made a quote that you said, hardest job I've ever had.
I'll revise myself here and now and say that was before I did Blade Runner, which I think is probably the hardest job I ever had.
And I mean, just looking at the film, you can tell that this was no fun and games movie. I mean, this was lots of hard physical work.
It was, yeah.
For instance, the hanging off the building scene, what all was involved in that?
Climbing several times up the face of a building, albeit building built.
How high is he right now?
No fool here, but
very.
Of course, and in fact, this.
What exactly is he talking about?
After I had done it a few times, it was done by somebody else and doubled to do it because it was so arduous that I could only do it one or two times, and that sort of thing is. I mean, that to me is not what the film is really about or what my job is really about. So it doesn't make
no, Harrison, you're supposed to be dealing the drugs,
on me.
Not doing them all.
I just want to, the question for me in climbing up the face of the building is not how difficult it is how to make it look like I've never done it before. To make it, and in fact, to make it look more difficult than it is the really arduous part. That's more difficult than actually climbing up the face of the building.
This movie, of course, directed by Ridley Scott, who did Alien, Raiders, directed by Steven Spielberg. They both love working with special effects, and they're just master craftsmen, both of them. But Steven is one kind of personality, and I don't know Ridley that well, but he appears to be an entirely different personality. Quieter, is he?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that it serves any of us well to try and describe in short terms.
Bobby, I won't lie. I'm high as fuck right now. I can't answer that question.
Everyone is a different person, works in a different way, and I work with them in a different way. It's the chemistry between people. It's the way in which they work that determines the success of it. And you work well with a variety of different kinds of people. But each person is drawn to a different kind of work. Ridley's films are as different from Steven's films as Steven's films are from, for instance, from Francis Coppola's films. Because they're different people, and you work with them in a different way.
All right, so we've established that they're different
in your own way at the same time.
Harrison,
you work with them differently because you're.
Do you feel now that
you're acting? Acting.
Well, let's start back. When you were doing Star Wars, you were part of an ensemble, And then Raiders, of course, you were the star, and now this one, you know, definitely.
Raiders, I was still a part of an ensemble, which included the director, the writer, the producer. It's still an ensemble. There's still, and as well, not to mention Karen Allen and all of the other players in the film. There's still a feeling of ensemble. There's not, and the best of filmmakers recognize that it is the film that maintains the actor.
This is me when I didn't read the
But
book.
in the
They're not
public,
the actor that maintains the
you know,
film.
there's
excuse
a
me
film,
for
there's
stepping on
film.
your line there. But the public now, Harrison Ford, big star. Does that put more pressure on you?
No, it doesn't really. I mean, it
Low
has,
zoom, 10 out of 10.
as a body of films begins to accumulate, I become more recognizable, more well-known, and that has an effect on my privacy. But the rest of it, I mean, the only ambition I had when I started to be an actor was to be able to make a living as an actor and not have to do something else. It's the actor's life for me. I mean, that's what I was after, that kind of life, that kind of work. And as long as I can work
the actor's life
and you know, exercise what
I literally was thinking that in my head.
what abilities and take advantage of what experience I have, then I'm happy.
You mentioned your privacy, Harrison. Now do you find that you don't get to do some of the things you'd like to do simply because you cause such a commotion every time you step outside?
No, I still get high, Bobby.
I suppose so, and yet the people that I deal with are invariably very kind and understanding. Many people
You think I don't blow trees?
have
I blow trees, Bobby.
understand that just from the way you behave that you have a sense of your privacy and respect that. So I'm not bothered by people very often.
When you all were making Raiders, did you anticipate, could you?
You know what? Good for him. He's doing a really good job there. Like, because that, like, our girl is, what's happening? Bonnie?
Oh, sorry. I was not.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that this podcast turned into Mystery Science Theater like 5 minutes, 10 minutes into it. So I'm sorry. I didn't know this is what we do now.
Jeez.
Okay. Great. We'll speak fun of Harrison Ford. And Lucas
I'm not making fun of him. I'm saying he's conducted himself well, considering the fact that, you know, I get it.
I mean, to his
Under the
defense,
influence.
to his defense, those press junkets are freaking
Yeah, they're
boring.
terrible.
Because I was the journalist for, I don't know, 25 years.
Yeah.
So I've done that, and I've still done that. In fact, the last one I did in the before times before COVID, right before COVID, I think it was like 2 weeks before COVID hit.
Yeah.
I interviewed Henry Cavill, and all we did was talk about horses because he was so bored talking about everything else, and it was for The Witcher. We just talked about horses, and then I got to hug him.
Misogyny?
And he's so nice. And he's also one of those people who smokes, and you never know he smokes because he's magic. So that was fun. But I just kept staring at this interview and going, I recognize those hotel curtains. Those are hotel
Sure,
curtains.
and you do them all like in a row, right? And it's got to be incredibly boring. And our girl Bobby was not on it necessarily. For
No,
this.
I mean,
like it was just sort of like, all right,
My
hey,
favorite
like
thing
it's
to
cool
do
how.
now- My favorite thing to do is to go on YouTube and watch press junkets of people who have never interviewed a celebrity in their life, and then it turns into like that, kind of like that Chris Farley interviewing, you know. Was it Paul McCartney or Sting or something going, hey, remember that one thing you did?
Yeah, that was
cool.
great.
That was great.
Well, and like the thing with that too is that sometimes like she's so odd. Sometimes they'll come up with a banger. We're like, what? But here it's just like, hey, it was cool how like you worked in an ensemble in Star Wars. And he's like, well, hold on a second. Like a bunch of people worked in these other movies, which good for him for like pointing out that it does take a village, right?
To sort of answer that
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
That was,
He couldn't remember the names of the people, but he remembered what their jobs were.
You know what? He's still humble. Still humble. Still grateful.
I think he probably just sounds bored and tired too. Chapter
Yeah.
Back.
Come on
I
me
agree.
right now.
I'm just glad she wasn't like
happy.
flirting with him or something because remember like she chastised Ridley Scott for Alien being so violent.
Oh,
She
that's
flirted
right.
hardcore with what's his name, the guy from Roadhouse mustache
Patrick
guy.
Swayze? No.
Yeah.
Patrick
No, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
Oh well, I mean
Yeah.
that's a given. That's a given. That's default. I mean, I would.
He's
start
just
with
like,
Sam
let's blow
Elliott
off this
if I
interview
fucking
and just
wanted
bang, and he's just like, all right. No, I mean,
I mean, like she's never boring except for when she's boring.
Yeah.
From the comment, Sherry Prime, did Blade Runner start cyberpunk? I would say yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
when I was
No,
looking
William
into it,
Gibson
yeah, I looked into it.
Talking about William Gibson did that predates.
Yeah.
Neuromancer, sure. If people
Pretty well
read,
mainstream.
but I'm talking about like.
Great, because we're talking about the book of this, aren't we? Blade
Well,
Runner's-
okay. So hold on, Bonnie. Like I'm just saying from perspective of what we think of like with the style of like cyberpunk and
I
like.
mean, are we talking about the style or the game? Because I think there's a lot of Gen Zers that are like, "Do you mean the video game?" I don't know. What's your watch? What's your watch? Is it Gen Z, Gen Millennial, like
Gen
Y?
Z.
We're
Okay.
an all gens welcome.
All Gens welcome.
I mean, I remember when we talked about the Third Man and like people kept bringing up. I'm not going to say who, kept bringing up SpongeBob SquarePants. I was starting to get vaguely annoyed because I was
Wait,
like, I don't give a shit about that. What is that? But like, I think like from a large perspective of what we think of as cyberpunk, a lot of the trappings, visual trappings for sure,
Yes,
are this movie,
for sure.
right?
Cy
I mean,
Mead, who was the storyboard artist for Blade Runner, and Cy Mead, I do.
obviously Elon Musk likes it too. I'm sorry, it's the last time I'm going to mention that.
Okay, I stop talking now.
Bonnie, it's my freaking birthday, dude.
Let him do what he wants to do, man.
What do you want to do, Conan? What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about Elon. Yeah, let's talk about Elon.
I do not want to talk about Elon. I want to goof on his stupid ass car that looks like it's out of
Yes.
Blade Runner, and that he thinks the titular character is called Blade
Does he
Runner.
have a name
Yeah,
for that
it's the
car?
car.
Wait.
It's
Oh
the
my
car
God,
that-
he does, isn't he?
It's the car that
Can you
Blade
name
Runner
the
drove.
car? Is there a name of the car?
It's the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
Yeah,
Cybertruck? Okay, that's
Yeah, which is so stupid.
that's the lamest name for it.
But the visuals for this movie, basically, like what we think of as cyberpunk, which of course, I mean the Billy Idol record, of course, but
Yes.
like what we think of as cyberpunk, I think we think of this movie, right? I mean, like, and again, that doesn't say the entire concept or whatever.
Yeah, of
but,
course.
But like generationally, that's why it's kind of weird to see like the younger generation kind of short selling the OG Blade Runner because it's boring. It's like, aren't you the ones that are into Drive? You want to talk about boring? Like, I mean, like I like the movie, but Jesus, jumping Christ. And so it's easy to like short sell something when it's been so internalized into culture that's been regurgitated 100,000 times over generationally. Also, let's be clear, there's so many cuts of this movie. Like, and I've seen them all.
Which
multiple
is your
times.
favorite, Conan? Which is
I
your
like the
favorite?
final cut. I think the final cut is the best. I don't care for the narration. That's what I basically came away with.
Well, you know why they did that.
I do.
Okay, then I will. I mean, do you want?
Go ahead. I mean, yeah, please talk about it. Talk about it. Because you know we should talk about this.
Yes.
Okay, I was under the impression, and I could be wrong, that the reason they narrate it is because in old 1940s noir movies of the detective would narrate, and that's what this is supposed to reflect, is a futuristic noir. So they wanted that, and by they, I don't even know anymore if it was the studio or
I believe it was the studio, but go on.
They were like, we wanted to reflect that kind of Sam Spade kind of thing, Maltese Falcon kind of thing, and I get that, but I think in the 80s, not a lot of regular, just mainstream film goers were probably that aware of a narration being kind of standard in noir detective movies and TV shows and radio. So
yeah,
I understood why they did it, but you are correct. It was a little jarring in the movie when you watch it with that, but I watch all versions, and sometimes I like watching it with the narration because it feels
is more noir-like. You're right.
It feels lighter. It doesn't feel as heavy of a movie.
It explains things too, gives you like some backstory of like why they talk in that weird language, and that kind of stuff. But the other thing I understood, like the studio wanted that narration. Harrison Ford and Ridley Scott did not, and what they ended up doing was Harrison Ford like basically phoned in the narration. So if you haven't seen the narration before, it is like really badly done.
It's not electric. Let's put it that way.
No,
the only electric thing in there is the sheep. But I think that it's also notable that you get something like you get a little more of the aspects if you get with the book with the narration because there's a lot of inner monologue and things along those lines. But I think in general with movies, narration is tough. Like narration is, and I agree. And like we did a whole noir month, right? And like it is like it's totally the thing that you do. But yeah, in like the early '80s, nobody cared about that. People were like, that's 1,000 years ago. We're high on cocaine. What's happening now?
Can you recall a movie, like a sci-fi movie that has good narration? I don't know.
I would say Dune.
Star Trek.
Oh, yeah,
I mean the De Laurentiis Lynch Dune.
Does Star Trek have narration all the way through it?
Yeah, Captain's Log, Stargate.
I mean, it's not really narration, though, is it?
No, not
It's
really.
just an intro.
I mean, like when they use it.
I mean, all the way through the movie, like all.
No, yeah, they don't have like they don't keep cutting back. It's like it's just basically like a plot device to set up things that you need to set up quickly.
Like a crawl. It's like a crawl, but narrated.
But I think you're onto something, Bonnie, because like when we did the noir month, I think I actually suggested Blade Runner because I was like, "Yo, what's a noir?" Straight up, it's a future
cut
noir.
it to do the Andrew Garfield movie.
Oh yeah.
Under the Silver Lake?
Yeah,
yes.
The one you were on and I basically
No,
wasn't.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
In fact, I went on a little tour of all the places that were in that movie not so recently. So I mean, not so long ago. I don't know, after COVID. Pick one.
But I think it's like the Sam Spade, it's like the Philip Marlowe, like the internal narration.
It's like the shadow.
Yeah.
It's like it harkens back to those old detective shows. And it's interesting that you said that Harrison Ford phoned in the narration because I don't think they'll be able to get away with just not doing a good job because I'm hearing more and more from my friends that work at studios that they're just going to use AI of actors' voices to do it anyway because the SAG thing was so vague.
Well, so that's a problem that's happening all over TikTok. I saw someone using Gordon Ramsay's likeness to sell cookware for free. TikTok ain't skinning these ads, and it took some lucky shit on TikTok. And so what you do is you end up clicking on the ad, it leads you to not the Food Network, because Gordon Ramsay totally works with the Food Network, and you end up typing all your information, your personal, and your identity gets stolen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's happened to a lot of people on TikTok.
So Chapter Black, getting back to Blade Runner and away from TikTok for a second. Yeah, the narration's a little bit more enthusiastic than the interview we just saw. It's very laconic.
Well,
That's what I remember most about it.
Warning me about that. Thank you for the warning because I watched TikTok.
Never trust any ads on TikTok. My mom's like, "Oh, look at this." I'm like, "Mom, please don't."
It's just robots wanting our money. There you go.
Hi, my name's Blade Runner, and I'm here to tell you not to trust that.
So watch me pivot for this, right, and put it back to the movie. That like it's incredible how prescient this movie is. Not the least of which is that like all of the like Uber Corporation haves and have-nots. All the thing that's probably the most notable that I got wrong is it predicted FaceTime and video calls, but obviously could not have predicted the cell phone. Like most.
I mean, so did Jetson. So,
but like it's crazy that like we're at the dawn of actual artificial intelligence where you have to have these really deep conversations about what it means. When does something become sentient? When does something deserve like rights to live or to vote or whatever? And
can I cut in and say something really fast?
Apparently you can. Yes.
This is because I think about this all the fucking time. We have people, whether it's like Elon Musk or like whoever it is, right? Like these tech billionaires that are constantly warning about this and saying like, oh, AI needs to get reined in. AI needs, AI is going to be a danger.
They create their own version of it.
But they keep creating it.
Pushing
and
it.
they can literally just not. They can literally just stop and never create it. You could literally say, hey, we're not going to do AI. We're going to make a decision. None of us are going to do AI. That's something.
No one's forcing you to do this.
Like an existential threat, right? Like if we truly believe like it's a threat to the level of climate change, which is what some of them have said, like then don't make it. It's so just don't do it. Just don't make it.
About it. Why bother make it?
So Forrest, that ties into the larger thing of like why I'm surprised that the younger generation doesn't vibe with this more. Because first of all, sans narration, this is a vibe movie. Absolutely. Bonnie, you mentioned watching it while you go to sleep and like which I totally 100% get and vibe with. And then also you have things like this. Like, look, there's a lot of things happening right now that are being directly addressed in this film. And it's crazy to me that the younger generation hasn't like the only thing I think of is that like Ridley Scott at this point, Peace and Love, has made more mid movies than great movies.
Yeah, he likes to flex on, oh, Martin Scorsese spent all this time directing this one movie, but I've made 4 since he started filming. I'm like, look at Napoleon, dude. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm saying there's Blade Runner, right? Alien, Thelma and Louise, and I guess maybe Gladiator.
Well, he
And
did
like
Thelma
those are
and
the great ones.
I forgot he did Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and
That's so
Louise
weird.
is
That one
fantastic.
stands out for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I forgot he
Yeah,
did that.
and like there are some great second tier ones, like let's be honest, like Hard Rain.
He's got a lot of good movies, but that's just it.
Yeah.
They're good movies, and he's made a lot more mid movies recently. So because of that, people like tend to be like, "Oh, Ridley Scott, he's fine." And it's like, no, but Blade Runner is like one of the best sci-fi movies of all time.
It really is. It really
I sound
is.
like Kanye interrupting Taylor Swift now, but whatever.
I do. In my head, I just
Taylor. Wait a
in
minute.
in my head, I decided that I've crushed Napoleon and Beau is Afraid together. So it's I can't decide whether to call it Napoleon or whether to call it Napoleon. Napoleon Beau Napart, like spelled with
Oh, nice. That's nice.
I think Napoleon's pretty good.
Yeah.
Conan brought it up. This is so influential, and I was wondering what you saw when you saw this. If this was the first thing that you saw that defined you, or did you see a film inspired by this later? I saw Blade Runner. I don't even remember what cut it was at this point. I've seen this movie so many times. I saw this at a very early age.
Did you see it in theater? In a theater?
I did not see it in a theater, but I saw it basically. It must have been when it first hit home video. But like, but here's the deal: my dad had a crush on Daryl Hannah.
Oh, I mean,
And probably still does, frankly.
shocking.
I haven't looked at his Facebook lately. I've been logged out. So that's me, but also you got to realize I saw RoboCop at an early age too, you know?
Yeah, it was. I think I was 5 when this came out, so I didn't obviously see it. In the
What
theater.
year was it when it came out again?
82.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have been August 82, I think, too. So I would have been like 4.
Yeah, but the thing is though about this movie, I actually didn't hear about it until I was
maybe
like in high school, if I remember correctly. And I was at a movie not at a movie theater. I was at a museum to see the Beaver movie on IMAX, the biggest damn movie you've ever seen. But it's like the real IMAX screen.
DAM, I'm certain.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like the real IMAX screen where like you can like recline back and like literally your entire field of vision is the screen.
Yeah.
And it's just like helicopter shots of like Canada's wilderness. Of like beaver dams, it's incredible. Like it was amazing. But in the at the museum at the time,
Did Ridley Scott direct it? Kidding.
actually, I could look it up. But anyways, if you get a chance, anyways, at the museum at the time, they had a sets from various films, and they had the flying like the model that they used that they shot of the flying car, and I'd never seen this before, and never heard of Blade Runner. And I
so you saw the car first, the flying.
I saw the car first,
You
and
sound
I'm like,
I think that's Elon Musk off first too.
I was going to say standing next to a young Elon Musk.
Yes, no, actually, I was sitting next to a young Gabriel Horn, but
that's way better.
Yes, I win. But I saw it like everybody's like, yeah, Andy, whatever. I'm like, this is so cool looking. Like I so wish I had my sketchbook with me so I could sit here
It
and
did
draw.
seem like future stuff in the 80s. I will say that. It does not seem like future stuff in 2023.
And then the aesthetics of it too. Like the first time I watched it, because I went to the library shortly after that and saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
And just the all the shots are just so beautiful in this movie. It's so copied. I mean, like, yeah, it's a pastiche of a lot of stuff that came of noir, but like the way they infused sci-fi into it was just so original. So
So I like this. Christina, how about you? When did you first see Blade Runner? And did you see something that was inspired by it first, or did you see this first?
I believe I think remember the I Love series on VH1? I believe they talked about Blade Runner at one point as like a movie. And so I was like, oh, I should go see this.
Nice.
And so
did you see Batman animated series before this? Before that?
No.
Okay, because the Batman animated series, they had William Sanderson in an episode, and they actually do like some Blade Runner pastiches and some of it. And honestly, like the visuals totally steals from the movie. So like,
right.
There
you go. As many times. Bonnie, how about you?
So I was 10 when this came out, and I lived in Kansas. There was no movie theaters. I think we had, I think it was drive-in movie theater. So I don't think, because that's where I saw Star Wars was the drive-in. So I don't think. I saw, you know what? I think I saw it because I had a boyfriend that worked at Blockbuster in high school, Blockbuster Video.
Rad.
And you could play, if you worked there, I think you could play whatever you wanted. And then super late at night when no one was like really pay attention, that's when like all the Italian horror films would come on. But he played Blade Runner once when I went, and I was just like, oh my God.
Plays Blade Runner once. Sorry.
Yeah, played it once. And then I was hooked. And then I was, every time I was in charge of any kind of schedule for midnight movies anywhere I worked, I always put it in the roundup. And yeah, it just became, it's weird. It's weird to think of my most favorite movie of all time, and I cannot remember
how it started, right?
The very first time I saw it. But
maybe you're a replicant. Maybe it's an implanted memory. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go.
The one thing they're implanting is that you watch Blade Runner, but it's really great. Yeah.
Aha, it's a perfect alibi.
Yeah, I mean, I think it must have been on, and I know it was on video. I know it was on VHS, but I don't, because I can't even remember which
was the cut that was on VHS? Was it because they did director's cut in the 90s?
Oh yeah, no, it
right?
wasn't.
So it would have been
Conan, I'm old. So we're talking.
There's been so many different versions of this. This has to be the movie that has the most versions.
Right?
Or one of them. But anyway, was that the end of that, Bonnie? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh no. I was just saying. I was trying to think of which. That's also a good question. I think it's whatever was available for sale first or available to rent first was whatever version I got. So I'm assuming it's a narrated one.
Yeah, like whatever that was is what the first one I saw too, and it probably was a narrated one. Yeah.
But I was also thinking, it must have, because at that time there was only two. It was just HBO and Showtime, I think, were the only two cable companies then. So it would have been on HBO. And
Skinamax was a little later.
That was later. So I think it was HBO. I saw it on probably first for home box.
My dad was buddies with the cable guy, and we got all that stuff for free. So.
I know. We were the first ones. Let me tell you, we were the first ones on our block to get
I think he smoked him out, to be honest. But
we were so popular because we were the first ones to get HBO. But HBO, when it launched, only had 5 movies?
No, it was ridiculous how few movies there were.
But they predated MTV with HBO Jukebox.
That's
so
true.
we had music videos, but it was all Journey.
Well, now MTV
terrible.
just plays the same 5 movies. So
yeah, there you go.
Forrest, how about you? When's the first time you saw Blade Runner, and did you see the stuff inspired by it first, or did you see this first?
So I definitely saw it as a little kid. Don't remember the thing, but then I talked to my mom when I was watching it this week, and she's like, "Yeah, you definitely saw it as a little kid." So I remember the aesthetic of it. I don't remember actually sitting there and watching it, but we had a video store in town, and I 100% know that I was Blade Runner. That's another Harrison Ford movie. But
I feel like this did good money in video, right? It had to have, because everyone I talked to was
in the comments, Stevie said Laserdisc, and I was like, yeah, I had it on Laserdisc. I now remember I had this thing on Laserdisc. I'm trying to remember what part of the movie I had to flip the disc before you could get the Laserdisc that was auto flip. For those youngins who don't know
No, actually, so my uncle was in the Air Force, and he was stationed overseas in Japan for a long time, and the 4 things he brought back. He brought back Pepsi in the really slim cans, super slim.
Sure. I mean, I'm drinking tiny Coke right now. So.
Exactly, just like that. Pocky, one of the greatest candies and treats of all time.
I love Pocky too.
And a Laserdisc player with 2 things: the Zaxxon video game on Laserdisc.
I remember that.
And MFN Blade Runner. So that's right. And I forgot about it because I saw it in the video first, then I saw it on Laserdisc, and I don't, whatever. I was too young to.
And I don't think people realize.
I was like, wow, these things are huge.
Laserdisc was the format between VHS and
Laserdisc.
And Laserdisc, you had to flip it unless you had a player that also would play. So you had to take it out and then flip the disc and put it back in. So everyone knows certain movies. I have a PTSD situation where I'm I shouldn't say PTSD. I just have a very vivid memory of, okay, this is where we flip Dune. This is where we flip Star Wars. This is where we flip Flashdance. This is where we flip. It just keeps going. And I'm like, why do I remember this? But I can't remember the capitals of any of the United States. But I remember this. So
listen, kid, this is a movie about the future. And it's on the format of the future. It's done with lasers. You heard of this, kid? Lasers and discs. They're called Laserdisc. Believe it.
Indestructible.
It's gonna change this whole industry.
It's a movie. It's a movie where everyone dies from lasers.
It's gonna blow your mind.
The movie is put on a disc with lasers.
And all the kids, they love lasers. They're gonna love the disc that goes with them. It's gonna be great.
Buy laser discs anymore? Are they even for sale.
People are gonna buy them like it ain't nothing.
Well, I will say that there is a gentleman who's trying to get all of Titanic on VHS. I wonder if it's on Laserdisc too.
Laserdisc.
Man, well, I don't know. The movies that came out after Laserdisc stopped being Laserdisc. I don't know if they retroactively. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so I find it interesting because when we talk about video stores and we talk about like video store culture and things along those
They
lines,
do in fact have Titanic Laserdisc.
I don't care. So when we talk about that kind of culture and like what kind of movies became quote unquote cult classics because of it, Blade Runner's a perfect example. Because it's something that like if you have like a cool, if you have like a cool older sibling or something, they're gonna show it to you and you're like, whoa, what's this? And if you don't recall anything about it, like, whoa, that was awesome. Right.
Yeah.
And like I think that like that is an element of culture that is just gone. That is gone completely and utterly. But also everybody has access to everything all the time. So that's why I'm surprised that the Zoomers haven't vibed with the OG Blade Runner.
I was just talking to a friend about this. I was talking to my friend Will last night about this, and we're talking
or at
about
least the top 10 reviews on Letterboxd haven't. Anyway, go ahead, Bonnie.
I called that little flex about bringing up your friend Will that.
Shut up.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
I don't want to name drop. Quit doing that for us. So anyway, my friend starts with a W. We were talking about Night Flight the other night, or last night. We're talking about Night Flight. And for those of you who don't know what Night Flight was, it was a TV show that was on super late at night on USA Network.
And it's a streaming service now where it runs the old episodes as well as a bunch of other stuff.
It is also a streaming service now, which you can subscribe to.
We should maybe be on.
It'll play all of the old episodes. And what it was a combination of alternative music videos, but also really weird movies like independent sci-fi and NYU like student films and Mr. Bill and like Fantastic Planet. But then you'd have like these punk rock shows, and then you'd have interviews with like David Lynch type things, and it was a discoverability, and we were talking about the discoverability of like weird shit and.
Like a clearinghouse of the bizarre and weird and obscure, but in a way that like could introduce you to something you maybe didn't know you loved, right?
Yeah, and back then in the 80s and early 90s, the way you discovered stuff was either, like you said, you had a cool friend or family friend or whatever, but also you would have like things you just stumble onto, like Tales from the Dark Side in the middle of the night, or these shows that you're like, or cable access, which I loved cable access. In fact, I had a cable access show in high school, and I loved cable access.
Same.
Shows. I guess that would be TikTok now, right? Like TikTok and YouTube, I guess, are the new cable accesses. Maybe?
You can literally you can watch the entire Shameless series on TikTok in clips.
But but taking the place of that sort of like talented and idea-laden amateurs plying their trade and making something.
Yeah, where do you find the creative weirdos? Like you, Conan. Where would they find you? If they didn't know about this podcast.
I don't have. Here's what I'm going to ask you. Do you have any archives of your show? Because I don't have of ours, and I'm really sad about that. Because none other than Jerry Casale, if we're name dropping, said I'd like to see that. I'm like, yeah, me too. I don't have any copies of it.
What show? What show are you talking about?
My public access show.
The one in San Francisco?
With my friends. It was not in San Francisco. It was in Modesto. This was in Modesto. I was not cool enough to live in the Bay Area yet, and they clearly didn't know what they were airing when I.
Mine was in San Francisco. It was called Subculture, and I think it was.
Well, sure, you were because Bonnie, we all know you were born cool. So
no. I didn't say it was cool. I just said it was called Subculture.
I didn't know.
Cool.
I didn't move to the Bay Area until 95. So I had my public access show was in Modesto, and I learned how to edit on the old like clicky console machines and stuff like that. And it was good, but it was something that nobody was thinking about archiving anything. It's like all those old Doctor Who episodes that are like, oh, we don't save that stuff. We just, but it's like, oh, they're just gone forever now. Great.
I have all of my shows.
Or Pluto TV has them.
So I have all my shows.
No, there's a bunch of them that have the audio and they don't have the video because they literally destroyed the tape because they kept reusing it, which is like nobody ever thought nobody's gonna want to see this kid show over again. Why would anybody do that?
That's what makes me about like a lot of the shows in the 60s, like a lot of the hullabaloo, like where artists would perform stuff, like, and there's no good quality of any of those shows that feature a lot of artists who were of their time.
You're right, because archiving something wasn't thought of as a natural thing you would do. You had to be like a quote unquote archivist personality to do that, and some people were smart enough to do so. And Night Flight is a service that actually.
Yeah,
has
I
them
mean,
on
they
it.
were smart. Tales from the Dark Side was smart enough to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's also like I see things sometimes pop up on Tubi or Freeverse or Pluto TV or something where it's like a free thing. And
If
you
it
see-
exists, sure.
And you see these things where you're like, holy crap. Like even the first season of Mystery Science Theater 3000, which was cable access before it became a thing.
Right.
And I think Joe Bob Briggs' show was also cable access before it became a thing. So I'm dying to see some of that footage. I know some of that footage is on its bonus footage.
Can I say that Destructive Images, they gave us the opportunity to archive them, and we're like, oh, we have to pay for the tape? No way.
I know that's the other thing.
we're all and it's like one of us had a job and it was a minimum wage at the record store, and it was like, no, we can't afford that. Are you kidding me?
What you were saying though about like the cool older sibling that kind of shows you stuff like that, I feel like the internet just kind of ruined that type of person and like turned them into like the older sibling that shows you like ISIS beheading videos or something. He's like, you'll never guess what you can see on like the deep recesses of YouTube.
My sister stays away from that. She just watches reality TV.
Faces of Death.
Matthew.
I'll tell you a story about that. So I had another friend that worked at another video cassette place, and they got raided by the FBI for having that because it was supposed to be like an illegal thing, and it wasn't.
It should have been. It sucks.
It wasn't Blockbuster Video. It was like some sort of like.
It was Cash Video.
But yeah, it got raided for Faces of Death, and I'm like, and then the big controversy was that it was all fake anyway. Like none of it was real; it was all staged. But I don't know.
People calling out
like that thing that it was like a rite of passage for high school kids to get a hold of this. It was like found footage horror, but it was like snuff films and stuff on a series of cassettes, and a lot of it was just really weird stage stuff, and a lot of it was like. Sadly, a lot of it, I think, was animal cruelty, but I don't know for sure.
It's horrible, and I don't want to discuss on my fucking birthday show, please. Thank you, because I fucking hate it and always have hated it.
I'm sorry, Conan.
Reefer Madness on Night Flight, Matthew Film Guy in the comments. Night Flight also show clips in the 80s version of Dr. Caligari. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff like Night Flight was again, like one of the things that we were all talking about, right? Of like having the arbiters of weirdness that you could find. So, like, I mean, what is that now? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but all I know is, yeah, I definitely saw it on video a few times. My dad largely watched it because of Daryl Hannah. But however you got there is how you get there.
It's so weird that I'm such into movies and music, yet I have parents who are like grew up in a time where we couldn't afford to go to the movies. We had to pick. We were allowed to watch one show a week for 6 kids in the house, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you people, but I'm more well-rounded than you guys are. Just saying. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, we didn't go to the movies either because it's too expensive. The only time we went to the movies is if it was like a cheap 2 for a matinee situation, or drive-in movies were always cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like drive-in anyway because drive-in culture was fun because you got to see like 3 movies in one night, and it was outside, and it was just kind of fun.
That's how I saw Close Encounters, and that was an amazing experience.
Yeah, and also, I mean, anytime you can watch a sci-fi film in space outside at night, and if you could be somewhere in a drive-in theater where it's not close to a lot of lights, then it's just like your screen connects to the actual sky, which is actually really kind of magical for children to watch.
Hence why me seeing Close Encounters of the Third Kind at the drive-in was a pretty special experience. That like,
I bet. Yeah, and
sadly, the only drive-in.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Sadly, the only drive-in movie I've ever seen was Godzilla 1987 or 88 or 98 or whatever the fuck.
The Raymond Burr one.
No,
during
no.
COVID, they came back.
No, the one with Matthew Broderick.
Oh, come on. That's not a Godzilla movie. Get the fuck off my screen.
During COVID, a lot of drive-in.
The only time I went to a drive-in movie.
Andrew, a lot of them are coming back. So if you live, I don't know where you guys live, but in California and LA, they brought back one of the drive-in theaters during COVID because it actually made sense.
Yeah.
To go to a drive-in.
A lot of films that were doing COVID, like a lot of them were like, let's just do drive-in premieres.
But a lot of drive-ins shut down right before COVID. Like all the best drive-ins in Wisconsin, it was like literally the month before. 4 of them shut down like the month before
did
COVID.
Any of them come back though?
They did
during
not.
COVID?
Nope.
Did any of them? Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry.
When I was a kid, though, we did have a second-run theater that I lived near, and my mom worked on Saturday, so my dad would take me to go see whatever it was. So I saw a lot of Italian sci-fi movies and fantasy films.
This explains a lot about what happened to you later on.
Yeah. I thought everybody went to go see the Lou Ferrigno Hercules films. I didn't realize it was just me.
I did. I saw them. It's not just you. You're not alone.
Yeah, he punched the bear into space. I mean, it's the greatest film ever.
I also
You
thought
are not alone.
Oh my God, Conan! I was thinking of that song in my head.
just like your commenter, I saw Empire Strikes Back at the drive-in as well, but I saw it as a double feature with Smokey and the Bandit. So I actually did think it was one movie when I was a kid. So for the longest time, I'm like Dom DeLuise. Again, Dom DeLuise. Is it Dom DeLuise? Yeah. Burt Reynolds and Han Solo were friends in my mind. Dom DeLuise and Chewbacca were friends. Like when you watch
Greenlit.
I mean, it could have been one long movie if it's a double feature.
I mean, Dom DeLuise was in Spaceballs, and that's like
Dom DeLuise was in
There you go.
Stargate and Caterwaull.
He performed at Caterwaull, the first Caterwaull.
I wonder what a double feature with like Blade Runner would go well with it as a drive.
Oh, Blade Runner! I remember that movie. We should talk about it. Yeah. Look,
I'd really enjoy watching Empire Strikes Back and Blade Runner as a. I feel like that would be like an awesome.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Yeah. Good point, Forrest.
Ridley Scott directed Blade Runner. He also directed Alien, right?
Sure did.
And so think about the terms of like how are corporations
from there?
How are corporations depicted in these movies?
Yeah, he doesn't like corporations much.
Right.
Huh?
But think about like mainstream movies, genre pictures that are mainstream movies.
Yeah.
And how are these corporations depicted? Not great. Turns out they're not up to anything good. This is 79 and 82, 83.
Yeah.
Look, like futuristic in a lot of ways, but not the least of which is like, hey, maybe all these corporate entities aren't looking out for us. This is, again, we think of dystopian sci-fi. It's not only a thing, it's a trope at this point, right? This is one of the flashpoints of dystopian sci-fi, really, as far as a modern sensibility goes, which goes back to being a progenitor of cyberpunk, but certainly as a film experience, it absolutely. I mean, it all owes a debt to Blade Runner.
And I think it's interesting. I mean, after having read the book, right, like, and being someone who's kind of an avid consumer of noir and like has at least like skimmed through a lot of those like old punk or old pulp like novels, right, like from the 1920s and 1940s. I feel like the book is a lot more like those old pulp novels that they're kind of satirizing, and the movie is a lot more like neo noir / like the noir thing, and which kind of makes sense that like in the book, like the corporation, which is it like it's not the Tyrell Corporation, it's the it starts with an R. I forget what their last name is, but it's well, it doesn't matter, but like
it's Tyrell in Blade Runner, isn't it? You're thinking of Alien.
I'm talking about Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the book. Like,
oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, it's but yeah, so their corporation is incredibly dishonest, but everybody's dishonest, right? Like this is a dishonest world.
Yeah.
In the actual, like in Blade Runner, the corporation at the center of it is far more dishonest and is a far more corrosive part of the story.
It's an insidious, an outright insidious entity. Agreed. Yeah.
So, and I think there's a lot of interesting things about how like times changed between 1968 when like a lot of it's about like Cold War ideology. There's still like the Soviets, the whole world's controlled by the UN, and that plays like a big role in the book. Whereas this everything's controlled by corporations, specifically each colony, each planet, and they're kind of just churning out these kind of like the models of the robots, which is the same thing in the book, but like I feel like it's a far more insidious part of the movie, and
because that's the time period.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, and I think you're onto something with that also, because if you think about what noir was at the time, because Philip K. Dick was very much like an avid reader as well as a writer.
Yeah.
And so he loved all of that stuff, but he wanted to do like that kind of stuff, but kind of do something kind of future facing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. And he became kind of almost like one of the best pulp sci-fi authors of his time because of that.
What would his fandom be called? Because, Grateful Dead fans are called Deadheads.
God damn it.
No, but I think
probably dickheads.
Yeah. No, but I think it's kind of fascinating. Also, his ethos, right? Like
fallopian tubes.
Like I've read it. Like I haven't read as much as like Conan and Andy have, but like I've read like a few of his books, and there's like, I mean, there is like kind of like an ironic sexism to it, but that's the same thing with a lot of those with all of the early pulp novels, right?
Imagine if Sean Connery had been Deckard, it would be even more sexism.
But no, like I'm saying, like that kind of ethos, and I think it's a lot more like kind of ironic in Philip K. Dick's work, but like it is something that got built upon by each of these like
generationally.
Like,
sure, yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's go ahead.
And the other thing that I wanted to point out about the differences between the book and the movie, which I liked a lot, I like that in the book he's obviously like not. He doesn't start out as like the best bounty hunter in the department, right? Like he's kind of like the guy that they call in when the actually like good bounty hunter, like as his like second, right? And I like the fact that the movie changes it, and like noir kind of does as a film thing, right? Like it changes it until he's kind of he's like a reticent bounty hunter already which he isn't in the book, right? In the movie he's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm
when I thought I was out.
Yeah,
and back in
the book he obviously still has like he has a wife and he has like all these motivations for doing it. In the movie he's kind of just like, oh, I've seen too much, and like and they get rid of
which is a noir trope, of course.
Yeah,
because other than In a Lonely Place, almost every noir centers a cop or detective, right? So
yeah, and well, at least this generation of noir, this subset, right? They're kind
of most noir. Like, I mean, if you really want to.
Yeah, I mean,
if that's the hair you want to split,
even if it's like oh well, now we're gonna make it an insurance adjuster instead, or now we're gonna make it
some like subsect of authority figure.
Yeah, but no, so I like that he's in this. He's like, oh, you're the best one we've ever had, and he's like, sorry, I'm out of the game, and they're like, but if you're out of the game, who's gonna hunt down these replicants? And I like that juxtaposition.
Well, dramatically, I think that works better, right? And I say that as like, I have 2 Philip K. Dick books in my top 20 books of all time. And I love that guy as an author, but I think the movie is better because of that, because it's more relatable, right? I love the concept of mercerism. It's so fantastic. Somebody should make a movie literally just about that, because it actually still kind of rings true today. I'm glad they dropped it. It's nowhere near there. I'm glad that the electric animal things is like in there, but it's like not centered, because honestly, that's not very relatable. Like, it's maybe more relatable now, but and it's certainly cool. And I think about it literally every time we go on vacation and we turn on like the 8 hours of squirrel videos on the TV for the cats to look at. I think about it every time. But like, it's not as important as the crux of the story, which is literally just who gets to live, why, and for how long.
Yeah, which
right, which is that is relatable AF.
The last point that I wanted to bring up is that there's a sea change kind of between like the story of the war that broke out between like the U.S. and the Soviet Union that made the Earth uninhabitable and made like the colonial process speed up,
right.
Which is kind of how all colonial processes kind of work in general. I think like
yes.
And in the actual, in the movie, it's a lot more about environmental degradation, which is something that goes.
Which isn't really ascribed to any specific thing. It's like, oh, it's terrible that this happened.
Well, it's famine, war, and pollution all at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. All this terrible stuff all happened, huh? Wild. Oh, yeah, how'd that happen?
But I like that by the time the 80s come around, right? Like people are a lot less scared of nukes and they're a lot more afraid of like the environment, and as we still are, the environment kind of
which is another reason why it's prescient, because we're dealing with the exact same problems and the exact same perpetrators.
The more things change, the more they actually stay the same.
Including those dopey cars.
Did Harrison Ford tell you that when he was high as fuck? And that
coming up next week, Harrison Ford.
Dude, I'd love to meet Harrison Ford. He seems like
hey kid.
He'd probably hate me. He'd be like,
he definitely would. He's probably got more of a Conan out of anyone else.
He's like, son, why are you talking to me so much? I don't like this.
I got to meet him.
I was gonna say one person on this panel actually has met him. So I think it's a funny conversation.
Excuse me.
Okay, all right, well.
Okay.
Let the record show.
Yes.
Snap correction.
Sorry, Andrew. I want to know how you met him.
I was working at Radio Shack and in the Berkshires, and like many celebrities, he just walked in
to Radio Shack. What was he getting?
He was getting a cordless phone for his son going to college around there.
He's like, I gotta kill this android.
Yeah, no, like Mia Farrow
trying to build this rocket.
His son's a really good chef too. His son's a really good chef.
Yeah, no, this is when he was way younger.
I'm getting hungry again.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. I haven't eaten since.
I met him a few times, like when we were doing presentations at Comic-Con. I
Is
think
it
it was
intimidating or no?
I think it was one of the DVD presentations for Blu-ray original trilogy. It was him and Carrie and Mark, and yeah, he's an interesting dude because he's so iconic, but he's also just kind of normal because he doesn't do the whole like Hollywood thing, and he very rarely ever goes to conventions. In fact, the one time I saw him go promote a movie that clearly was not anything that everyone knows him from was from Cowboys and Aliens, if you remember that movie. And
I liked it. Yes,
it was fun. Too. I mean, it was a good precursor of him in westerns. I thought he should be in westerns because that actor, when you think about it, Star Wars is a western, and so you kind of like, and Indiana Jones, he's kind of western-esque. So it's like, why isn't he in westerns? And I like that movie too, but as you know, it didn't do so well with critics and fans because it is based on an existing comic book series and people, and I think book series maybe, I don't know, but yeah, it was. So I've met him a few times. He's very nice. He's very gracious. He's not mean. I think the thing is like he really likes to play a curmudgeon on talk shows like Conan O'Brien and things, just because it's fun to see him do that.
Yeah.
But he's a very nice man. So yeah.
Yes. I remember my first thought when I saw him was like, wow, this guy looks like Harrison Ford. And then he speaks and I'm like, wow, he sounds just like.
Oh, snap.
Like, wait a minute.
Wait.
I love that you were working at Radio Shack. That's such a Blade Runner.
That's a very Blade Runner job, right?
Yeah, it's like Techard at Radio Shack. That's.
No, yeah. I mean, like, we were selling cordless phones and killing androids. It's just what we did.
You just won 80s bingo. Harrison Ford, Radio Shack, cordless phone. You can say bingo.
If you have Armatron in there, you can go for bonus points. It's Art with Words. I don't know what this is in regards to, but don't knock yourself down too much how influential you all are. You've inspired me to, and plenty of others, check out interesting things. This place got me to check out Solid Rock Trust. Yay! And The Night Shift got me into Perpetrator and Smile.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for watching Night
go.
Shift. That's the show that I do with Jenna Hayes and Renee Ruin on horror films. And I appreciate you guys watching that too. Thank you. That's how that podcast came to be. I met Renee on this show.
Yep.
So thank you guys for.
The North remembers, and so does Conan.
Yeah, thank you.
If we can make our own actual network, we can feature all of our
There you go, Christina.
sister brother shows that feature everyone else.
We can get paid.
There we go.
And we can pitch our dream show, which is we get we're gonna do like a Vice style show, like a Viceland style show. We're getting Harrison Ford to go to different dispensaries.
I mean,
look,
I just want to do a horror movie show just with puppets, and I want to reenact the most violent horror film scenes with puppets. That's all I want to do before I die.
Speaking of puppets, Disney doesn't know what to do with the Muppets. Come on, there's plenty of Muppets Christmas Carol. Do stuff like that again.
Blade Runner.
Stop doing the TV shows.
Blade Runner with Muppets. And you replace everyone in the cast but Edward James Olmos.
Yes.
If you watch season 1 of Channel Zero, that's got a really creepy puppet story. So I'm just out there. Anyway, back
for
to
those
Blade
who
Runner.
don't know, Conan's like the big brother I've always wanted because we're two alike.
Exactly. So that's why we team up to produce cool shit on this show when we're allowed to. I think that this movie, there's a lot of weird detail in this movie. Like again, so we talked about Daryl and his brothers. I for some
And
reason.
that's where he lives in the Ray Bradbury building in LA. So you can
Oh
go
really?
visit. That's in the movie Sebastian. His apartment complex is in the Ray Bradbury building, which actually exists in LA, and you can go visit it, and it's beautiful.
I've seen this movie at least a dozen times. I always kind of selectively forget how important the toy maker is, and that
He's
his
own friends. That's the big line, right? I don't have friends, I make them.
Yeah, and it's sort of explained away that he's got a condition, right? Of why do you look so jacked up, dude?
Yeah, I always forget about that. What was the condition called?
I forget. What was it?
But he's
Andy?
25.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be 25. It's
It's probably good that they stopped him from being retarded and they made him have a degenerative disease.
That's way better.
In the book, he's very clearly a little
Why?
retarded.
What do they call it in the book? What's the disease?
They're he's special.
He's touched.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that okay.
But there's in the book, right? Earth is degenerating, over time, and like the radiation is degenerating all.
There's
life
no
on Earth.
real animals left. That's why all the artificial animals are around. Sure.
Or they're really really rare at least.
You have to be like the uber rich of the uber rich to have one. Yes.
Yeah, and so people's brains are continuing to deteriorate, so they have to give them IQ tests, and so like there's a class of people on Earth who have like a subpar IQ. That they're just called like the specials, like they're very clearly mentally challenged. And so this one guy started off not mentally challenged, but he's like degenerated enough at this point that like
So it's a change for the better that they just issued that entirely and was like, oh no, he's got like he looks older than he is, and like therefore he couldn't go to the colonies.
Like reverse, I guess that would be like progeria, right? Those children that like look
oh
like
sure,
80s,
yeah.
but
well,
they're
it's called Methuselah syndrome in this. His glands grow old too fast, but it also makes him basically a replicant, right? Like the replicants age out really fast, and that's like the whole thing behind them.
And that's what makes that more relatable, right? Because obviously, like him and Pris like strike up this like friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. That like it's based.
She's not his friend. She's using herself.
I know that, Bonnie, but I'm just saying that from his perspective, he's looking at it like that, which
I know,
maybe.
I feel bad for Sebastian. He just wants friends and he wants to play chess. That's it. Like, don't.
My man didn't get to smash at all. Not even once.
Maybe I would imagine because he's not actually mentally challenged as he is in the book, that like in some small corner of his mind he knows that, but like doesn't care because he wants to like.
I don't think he's mentally challenged. He builds an amazing robot.
Definitely not. We just talked about that. In the book, he's mentally challenged. I'm just saying that like.
Conan, relax. It's your birthday.
Maybe I could complete a thought on this show. Who knows? I don't know. It's cool. It's a good bit. And then like, even though you know it's coming, when Roy Batty comes in, it's like, oh, this is not going to go well. This is a bummer. This is a bummer. And it is a bummer. And then like, I argue that without his reaction to like the skull crushing, like that scene doesn't work. Like, I think that, like, it doesn't have the impact that you... Because you see him, and he's like, oh, God, I got to get away, like, immediately. And, which ends poorly as well.
Yeah.
All right, I'm the asshole. Great.
No.
Did he just leave?
Oh, I thought...
Did he just leave his own birthday party?
Might have.
Or I thought he was
going to go crush a skull.
Oh, man, where's Uncle Alligator at?
No,
Look, kid, it's all about skull crushing. There's going to be all kinds of crushing going on. There's going to be crushing of box office records. There's going to be crushing of skulls. It's going to be aces, kid.
Gonna be
a little powder to some of the movie ideas.
We're going to crush up that goofy juice.
We're going to crush on Daryl Hannah.
There's going to be all kinds of crushing, kid. You're never going to believe it.
Daryl Hannah uses her like sexuality in a way I think that's like it's creepy. It's good, but it's creepy.
That's her job. The replicant was that she was supposed to be a sex replicant for the off-worlders. So like that's her purpose. She's a sex worker. That's a robot. So of course she's going to use her sexuality to get into Sebastian's house.
And would we have Harley Quinn if it wasn't for Daryl Hannah's character?
For Pris?
Yes.
I don't think that's connected, but I like the thought. But
I have a feeling that like they probably there's a kernel in there, like not the whole thing, but just like.
Well, also too, they saw Arlene Sorkin on Days of Our Lives dress up as a jester, and they're like,
Thank you.
They're like, we could work with that somehow, maybe.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. She recently passed away, and she's one of my favorite actresses.
We had so much soap opera talk when we had Rick Ives on. Like, it was a surprising amount of soap opera talk.
She was one of the most iconic, like, soap opera characters. She influenced the Harley Quinn. Also, she's a great voice actress. I mean, it's sad to see her go, and yet evil still walks the earth. So I'm still kind of concerned.
Well, at least we got Kissinger.
Well, not all evil. Let's just say some still walk.
Harley Quinn, medicine woman. Well done, Stevie.
So do we want to do some of those old Letterboxd one-liners?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it to it.
Can I ask a dumb question? Did anyone give this a bad review in mainstream media or no?
At the time or now?
Yeah, like any of the critics of the time, did any of them say, "What's this"? Like, because I mean, notoriously, there are very famous sci-fi and fantasy and horror films that came out around this time where people are like, "This is trash."
No.
Billions of dollars.
I actually don't. I know it
I'm
wasn't
on it right now.
It wasn't a huge box office success. I know that it was not successful,
Okay.
and that's
I
what.
guess that's a better answer. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what led to the we got to recut it. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got
Yeah.
to
You're
fool
right.
people into liking it, right?
You're right. You're right.
But it is a good question because I think the problem is that even like the elder statesmen and stateswomen of the show, we all kind of came into the video era, right? Which is not when it came out. Like it's years after that.
I know, right? That's so strange.
But anyway,
As
we all know.
Let's see some Letterboxd reviews. I'm curious to what people are saying.
Sure.
About this lovely movie.
So as we all know, Letterboxd, of course, is a social media site for film lovers to talk ad with and to each other about the movies they love, maybe the movies they didn't love, maybe the movies that they gave a Voight comp test to after they were weirdly horny for the principals in the movie itself. Everybody gets to have their say, not just Siskel's and Eberts of the world. It's bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to chime in. And, of course, this is best expressed succinctly for the purposes of this bit, where we call the chaff and bring you only the best one-liners for the movie we're covering, which in this case is Blade Runner, which is what we're going to do right now. These are Letterboxd one-liners for Blade Runner. Let's go. Harrison Ford really made the 80s his bitch.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah. Faux show.
Watched with Noonie as a tag. I don't know who Noonie is, but
probably
I think
their
the Muppet.
grandmother. Yeah.
I'm picturing it's a Muppet. That is my headcanon.
I do like the tag of just score with an exclamation point.
like is it for the music or did he score with
Yes. Oh, ooh. Wow, in the future they still have noodles. They sure do.
Whenever it rained in San Francisco, which was constantly, every once in not San Francisco, I'm sorry, LA, I would do that like little gif of him ordering the noodles. And I did that in LA once, and someone that I ordered noodles from actually knew the direct quote, and it was such a bonding moment to be like, "Oh, that's so cool!" But also, the street food and the night market in this movie, I want it to be real because the street food looks good. Like I would
I would totally, absolutely, yeah.
I don't want to go to an off-world colony when I can have this. So yeah, I did want to bring that up.
It's like a world market, but like better.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway, noodles. Am I right?
Continue. Sorry.
Don't know about you, but this jury depiction of 2019 honestly looks much cooler than the one we lived through. The lack of Rise of Skywalker really makes a difference.
Oh my god! All right, Skywalker. That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
That's the one I didn't watch because the idea of it bummed me out too much. They were like, "Oh, they just kind of undid all the Rian Johnson stuff," and I was like, "Oh, I like that stuff." It bums me out.
It had some very funny moments, and Bob Frick's a great character, and those are the two nice things I'll say about it. Gotta make everyone around the table do the Voight comp test at Christmas this year.
Get ready.
Oh, I did that one. I did that one speed dating. In fact, when I did I did a stand-up special about dating. Yeah, I did I do secret stand-up because I'm not a real comedian, but I like to do it sometimes just for fun to work on my comedy writing. And I did speed dating in San Francisco when it really was starting to take hold. That was I say 15 years ago, 10. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was all tech bros, and I'm like, okay, it was all dudes. It wasn't bisexual speed dating. It was just normal tech bro speed dating. But I went as a favor to a friend to be her wingman, and I was like, okay, I'll go. And I was just screwing with everyone. The first round, I got everyone's passwords by saying, "Oh, I miss my first dog. Her name was Pepper." What's your name?
What was your birthday? What was your favorite pet?
Your mom's maiden name.
My mom's maiden name is so weird. It's like Garamoni. What's your mom's maiden name? Like I literally got everyone's answers for all their password questions. And then the second round of speed dating was just the Voight comp test verbatim. And only one guy figured out what I was doing with the fight contest, and I bought him a drink afterwards.
I was gonna say that's like you found your
That's a
people
keeper.
at that point. Yeah, exactly. Or did you? I don't know.
Anyway, that's my fight contest in dating.
There you go. It's good
There
to
you
see
go.
who's a replicant and who isn't when you're in the dating market.
Yeah, especially in San Francisco.
I remember.
Oh, Conan.
Really made me want a Coca-Cola. Yo, that
need that right
billboard is like iconic in SF. It's like
It
a
is.
Coca-Cola
It
billboard.
is.
Every
That's
time I
true.
drive past it, even now I'm like, that's the Blade Runner billboard.
It's crazy to like see the Coca-Cola fucking like the fucking sign or whatever, like the same week Henry Kissinger dies, and think like you know, at the end of the world's a dystopia at this point. It's like, you know, decades later when they actually make it, right? And it's like, yeah, the one company that really survives at that point really will be Coca-Cola. Like, the U.S. government will not let
I'm
Coca-Cola.
drinking it right now. I guess I should do a little product placement, right? All I do is drink Coca-Cola. So here we go.
Same.
We're an RC Cola shop. Kidding. Is RC Cola even still a thing? It probably isn't.
Yeah, I think it is.
All right.
Anyway,
There's like a lot of off-brand colas that still.
RC.
I don't blame you, Deckard. I get it.
Wait, which part?
No, that's a good question.
What part are we getting?
Well,
There's a lot of
it's a
things.
one-liner. We're not asking them to write an essay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As
And
I
that-
guess-
There was the part with the glory holes.
And the Andy, come on. It's got an emoji with sunglasses on, smiling. For the people listening on podcast, thank you.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Good times.
Even at the end of humanity, they'll be playing Coca-Cola ads, which goes back to what you were saying.
They will. They will. And I'm glad. I'm glad that of all the things we can survive the human race, it's soda.
Yeah, it's going to be like cockroaches and Coke.
Thank God.
So is the thing that does you know, it corrodes the inside, it corrodes everything, right? Like
I'll give you a little dystopian situation. The latest Coke, I think the latest Coke billboard in Tokyo is promoting Coke Plus. And Coke Plus it has a I don't know how to explain it, but it has let's just say it has a probiotic type of thing attached to it now, so you can empty your bowels quickly. There you go. I'm not joking. Coke Plus is for.
Is that a euphemism?
I don't know what the word is. What do you call it? Laxative? Laxative. There's a laxative in Coke Plus. So I'm not saying that right now, but that's the
well,
number
there
one.
used to be a laxative in Coca-Cola too. They called it cocaine.
They sure did. Let's bring that back.
Yes.
I think that if the world is gonna, I think if the world is gonna continue to get worse like this, they should, like, the one thing that they should give people as like a thing to make them more productive and to, like, you know, give them like a little bit of a pick me up is they should put like a little bit of cocaine back in Coca-Cola. Be like, look,
Yeah.
the world's gonna just keep getting worse from here, but
We could call it Victorian Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Original OG Coke, and just put in some opium and laudanum and Coke and.
that really is just our version of the empathy box in Dreams Electric Sheep. They're like, look, we're gonna make you feel you know, feel a little high from drinking Coca-Cola.
There you go. I like the way you think. That's good. Someone listening, make that happen.
We're an idea factory out here. All right, next. To Deckard's credit, I too would be shit scared if a replicant wearing nothing but boxers started chasing me around.
Yeah, that is kind of like, and he pops up like fucking Jack in The Shining too. He pops his head through the window at one point, and he's like,
Also, you just described where I live in North Hollywood, so that's actually happening now. It's just, you know, LA now. LA now. Every time I watch this, I'm like, okay, I live in LA now. It's way past the year Blade Runner is that was, you know, supposed to occur. And I'm like, I want rain. I would love rain in a great market, but, you know, having androids running loose, killing people is not really different than what it is now.
Also, every time it does rain in LA, everyone forgets how to drive, which
I
is
just think it's
sad
the
but true.
apocalypse. It's the funnest thing ever. I wish it would snow here next. Like, I just can't wait to see.
I love those videos when a little bit of snow happens in like Texas or something, and you see people literally just forget how to drive. They're like all
fun.
hitting each other with
That's
the, yeah.
fun. It's weird. Like Northern California, as Conan knows, and I know, it's like, you know, there's bad weather. It doesn't snow, but it rains all the time, so we're used to it. But then you come to LA, and you might as well be like it's like Mad Max all of a sudden.
Nobody knows what to do.
No one's seen rain
Oh my God! There's stuff falling from the sky.
It's not. Remember the '80s when everyone was afraid of acid rain? Whatever happened to acid rain? I miss acid rain. Where'd that go? We just not have factories anymore. I don't. That was a thing.
By the way, can I just say, having nothing to do with acid rain, I agree with you, Money. Rutger Hauer, Roy Batty, one of his best roles, right? Has to be.
Yes.
Like, no good. I just want to make sure we're on the same.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd ever seen a Rutger Hauer movie before this one. Before I finally saw Blade Runner, and I was just so blown away by him. I made sure that I watched immediately Blind Fury.
He's in that '80s version of The Hitcher, which is
actually no. Let me take it back.
Terrible.
Lady Hawk was the first thing I saw him.
Lady Hawk was great. Lady Hawk was great. And you know what, Andy? Anne Rice loved the author. Anne Rice loved him so much in Blade Runner that when she sold her rights to Vampire Lestat at this time, she wanted him to play Lestat. But as you know, the movie took so long in development hell that by the time it was ready to film, it was Tom Cruise that played Lestat and not Rutger Hauer. However, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they knew that was the case, so they had Rutger Hauer play the main vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. So
is it Rutger? Have I been saying it wrong my entire life?
I don't know. I just wanted to put that little trivia in there because he was supposed to. That performance in Blade Runner impressed so many creators and people that
so good.
And more stuff. It was just development hell for a lot of these things that didn't end up using him. So
and one of the best like justifiable baddies in science fiction too, right? Where it's yeah, he sucks and he's doing all these terrible things, but look at this hand he was dealt. It kind of blows, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more I watch Blade Runner, the more I kind of sympathize.
Identify with the replicants.
Yeah.
No, replicants did nothing wrong except for shave their eyebrows.
They just exist. They just exist and want to exist longer. That's all they want. That's all they want. And I don't see why not. Exactly. They couldn't. I mean, why not?
Anyway, next. I love that Deckard has this ultra complex enemy of the state-esque computer that can 1,000 times zoom in, rotate and curve within the space of a two-dimensional high-def 4K image. But when he goes to print the picture, it just gives him this shitty low-resolution Polaroid.
This is so great because this is part of that trope, and there's a great YouTube video. I'm sure there's many TikToks and YouTubes about enhance, and so many videos, so many movies where they have a very horribly looking, horribly taken photo or video coverage or whatever, and everyone's like, "Can you just straighten it up and look behind it?
Can you just zoom and enhance, please?"
And it's and it got to the point where actual people on actual police stations and actual things kept thinking that could happen because during the during the beginning of the internet with web design, I just remember someone saying, "Hey, can we make?" I think it was the first use of video webcams in studios or I know at Lucasfilm when we first used a webcam, I think it was Revenge of the Sith or something in the studio. It was a Gen 1 webcam. It was not this futuristic thing. And I just remember people going, "Hey, can you zoom in on this and enhance it?" And I'm like, no, you cannot because that does not exist yet.
I have been in the room with law enforcement officials when an executive asked to have something zoomed in and enhanced, and the silence was so pregnant, and so fraught. And then somebody was like, "We don't have the ability to do that, sir."
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun how much people think that actually does exist. But I do wonder, is this the first movie that does that though?
Oh,
is it?
Bill, can we hack into the mainframe and get that information back?
I feel like it was the first movie you did it, but I could be wrong. But I think it is. It's all Blade Runner's fault.
There you go.
Right.
Another Blade Runner first. Next. And thus, Hot Topic was born.
Oh, no. Plan 9 from Outer Space. That's how Hot Topic was born.
Come on. Really?
Vampira, that's Hot Topic.
We celebrate Vampira in this household. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
Technically, wouldn't it be Forever 21? Because you're Forever 21 as a replicant?
No, they're talking about the style. They're talking about the cool accoutrement is what we're talking about.
I don't remember seeing these clothes in Hot Topic.
Look, take it up with Dakota Joaquin. It's not much.
I'm sorry, Dakota Joaquin. You're
Thank
wrong.
you for the raid, Ravana.
Everyone in the future is miserable with a great coat. Agreed.
Oh, I just called out for NCIS instincts. Thank you, chapter.
All right,
1.
those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Blade Runner. Please, please, please follow the show. We have an HQ account, Movie Night Extra. Follow us on there. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff. By we, I mostly mean J. Andrew World and I can't point. Whatever, fuck it. You know who he is. And we're doing all the stuff over there to liven that up. Please also follow Voight Kampf over there at Always Flacco. Do androids dream of electric flacos? I don't know, but he certainly logs movies that he sees on for this show. I, of course, am Conan Neutron at Conan Neutron, more neutron than neutron. I'm watching all of the highbrow, the midbrow, the populist fare. I just totally blew that, didn't I? Anyway, whatever. It's my birthday. Give me some slack.
Happy birthday, Conan. Happy birthday.
New Criterion Challenge starts next week for 2024. So if you're interested in following me along for the Criterion Challenge, which I suggest you do, please follow me on there for that. J. Andrew World, was for president. There we go. I can't point in this. The only thing better about the other view is it's easier to point. That's the only thing I like about it. It's a terrible view other than that. You're walking like an Egyptian the rest of the time. You know, it's horrible.
Video with nothing.
Exactly, Bonnie. Thank you. You get me. J. Andrew World, was for president, watch all the weirdest stuff so you don't have to, or maybe so you can. Not for me to judge. He's just doing it whether you're observing it or not, and you're there you can pick up on his vast knowledge of esoteria and weird stuff like that. He's logging all that stuff on Letterboxd. Christina, my buddy, Cosmopolitics down there. Sean Young's alcoholism. That's dark.
Hey, Christina.
I'm Christina on Letterboxd. She's logging stuff. She went pro, by the way, so she's got a pro account, and hopefully that entices her to.
Yeah.
Hey man, this show brings a couple.
Thank you for the raid, Ravana, but we're about to head out.
Yeah, we're closing. Oh, hey, awesome. Well, thank you, Ravana's people. We love Ravana. We speak her name.
Yes.
She's on there, so follow her as well. I'm Christina. Bonnie, you do not have a Letterboxd account. This is not peer pressure, right?
I don't, but I might get one. I don't even know what it is.
I will be your first friend gladly because.
Okay, I'll check. Is it another social media site that I need to join? I feel like I'm.
But it's good and it keeps track of movies you want to see, which is how I started with it. And look at me now, a true success story.
Actually, you know what helps me? It's like I'll watch some weird ass esoteric movie and forget about it, and then like see it on a streaming service again. Like, did I ever see that? I don't know. Now I can check Letterboxd and be like, oh yeah, I watched that 2 years ago, and I completely forgot everything about it.
I'll join and friend all of you. So
which tells you if you do or do not want to follow J. Andrew World, basically. I know that a few of our listeners were throwing their Letterboxd handles in the chat. Chapter Black is chapter_Black. Sherry Prime is Dorothy Flail. Follow our fans of the show as well. But most importantly, J. Andrew World, was for president. Take us away with the plugs. Why don't you?
All right. If you're watching us on YouTube, please do those YouTube things like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. And of course, the big ask, watch the video to the end. That actually lets movie fans on YouTube find our content, but also lets you hear that great Conan Neutron song. It's especially great since we got a new one for this month only. So
Automata special. Yes.
Yes.
One day we'll have an album of all our extra Conan Neutron theme month intro songs, and you can bump it anytime, but that's not around yet.
Not yet. You won't.
Now,
that is a good idea. I should probably do that.
Those of you on Twitch, there's
enough
stuff
for
for
an
you to
album.
do too. Throw us a sub. If you happen to have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything, but actually helps out the show greatly. So thank you all for doing all that stuff.
By the way, Bonnie, I'd totally write something for the night shift. You want to let Renee know? I guess I could let Renee know as well too.
Yeah,
you don't
let
really
Renee,
need it.
let Renee know. And I mean, any of you who want to see me talk just about horror films with two other awesome people, Jenna Hayes and Renee Ruin, we do the night shift twice a month, and it's on YouTube here. Look us up.
He was gonna do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
I was just offering to write you a theme song because I remember I never did that after.
Oh, okay, cool.
Make it spooky, ooky.
Yeah, make it spooky.
I'm supposed to do one for Christina too, but I forgot about it until like literally right now.
Uh-oh.
My bad.
Oh,
That's fine.
It's
But
fine.
you have but Bonnie, is there
we're
anything
on
else?
we're on my plugs. We're on
We're
the
not. We're
birthday
not
boys
even
plugs.
done with the show plugs. We haven't talked about
I don't know what's happening.
But since we're talking about Bonnie's plugs, why don't we bring up like what else she's doing besides the night shift? Because I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So
Plenty.
sure. Okay. So today, December, I don't want to, this is live, right? Today, December 5th, A Disturbance in the Forest comes out on Amazon and other places for direct-to-video. It's a very nicely produced documentary of the the infamous Star Wars holiday special. And I'm in it with Seth Green and Weird Al and Donny Osmond and Bob Mackie and Kevin Smith
and Bonnie Burton.
And me, and I know it's so great. My name in the credits, and the end credits falls right before Bob Mackie. So I'm gonna have free drinks from drag queens the rest of my life, which is great.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of me doing that. No, I'm like one of two Lucasfilm employees that did the documentary, but here's the thing: I love the Star Wars Holiday Special. I always will. So
I still have a 4th generation copy on VHS about 20 feet that way.
VHS.
Really fun documentary because it tells a lot of behind the scenes stories, and we interview people from Jefferson Starship and from it's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's
Do you
crazy.
find out if they indeed built the city on rock and roll or not?
We didn't get that far,
Okay.
but I mean, maybe a sequel. Maybe a sequel.
I said that because I was like, I bet Christine will be like, actually, that's Starship.
It's not. Anyway, so check it out. Please check it out. It's fun. It's interesting. It's very insightful and kind of funny. And also, I do a book club show with Felicia Day called Felicitations. So we do that once a month.
Yeah.
And like I said, Night Shift is twice a month. And then you can find me. I think I have my name on there in my link tree, but I'm kind of everywhere at all times because I never sleep and I love doing stuff. So yeah, check that out.
That's why we're friends.
And thanks for having me on your special birthday, Conan. I hope I didn't ruin the show. I feel bad. I forgot.
Don't worry. It ain't over yet. We haven't done final thoughts.
Yeah,
it ain't over till it's over.
My plugs are going to take at least 10 minutes too. Just like
Okay,
you, so.
go for it.
But before we get to that, I do want to make sure that you can find us on social media. If you like the show, go over, find us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Whichever of those.
Threads too.
All of them. Threads. I always
Are you
forget.
on Mastodon? Are you on Hive?
I'm on Hive.
Hey, Conan, I'm still on LiveJournal. You want to come find me over?
Dude, let's bring it back. Bonnie, you and I, let's bring it back because that was the best one.
I posted there yesterday. So
They've all been terrible since then. It's
just
not.
you, me, and a bunch of Russians.
I know,
Left, so we're done. Yeah.
But yeah, if you happen to be on any of those social media sites besides LiveJournal, which you might be bringing back a Movie Night Extravaganza LiveJournal,
And Tumblr.
Why not?
Tumblr.
Find us on your social media site of your choosing. We also have a show Patreon, which helps us fund the show. And you get
everyone's fucking broke. Thank you.
Yes. But also you get to have access to all of our after parties. So you can see all kinds of zaniness that if you think we are crazy right now, you should see us whenever we're not actually talking about a movie.
Oh, I have a delirium nocturnum in the refrigerator.
We're having an after party. We're having an after party tonight, by the way, in a few minutes to celebrate Conan's
Stick around, Twitch
birthday.
people in my community or whatever. 24 of you, just stick around. We'll go live again. We'll do it live.
Is it this link? Am I invited? Am I dressed up?
Yes. You were my friend, Bonnie Burton. Of course you were invited.
Okay. Is it just here?
Yeah.
Or I go somewhere else? I don't.
Yeah, Force is going to give you a link. Don't worry about it. You're good. You're going to be good.
Okay.
Listen, kid, don't worry about it. It's going to be fantastic this after party.
I'm having a Studio 54 and Limelight. PTSD.
Studio 54 is going to look like a kindergarten after this.
Cool.
Uncle Alligator parties.
Yes. But Conan Birthday Boy Neutron.
Yes. Hello. Yes. Hi.
Yes.
Hello.
Birthday Boy Stabman. No, wrong movie. Protonic Reversal.
That's Napoleon.
Napoleon's good. That's my pick. If between those two, it's definitely Napoleon. Keep it to one word. Don't be like me. Keep it to one word.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. This is so speaking of 4 words, we have Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal.
Too many words, right? That's too many words. Why are there so many words? There should be less words. Yes, that's the name of my show. Thank you. That's protonicreversal.com. Right behind me. What about it, Andy? Yes.
Yeah, it's a great in-depth music show, and you just had I didn't write
Stephen Hodges.
Hodges, yes.
Who plays drums in MSSV, but has also played drums for Bob.
Legendary. He's a legend.
Bob Dylan, Mavis Staples, David Lynch. Hello, Tom Waits. Like, are you kidding me? What a cool guy. And
some of Tom Waits' best music too, like
Swordfish Trombones, Rain Dogs, Mule Variations. Yeah, that was a great episode. Really, really awesome, dude. That's the latest episode that just went to the general feed yesterday, I think. And he plays in the excellent MSSV with Mike Watt and Mike Bagetta. That's great as well. I've had all three of those guys on, and they're great. They're great in and of themselves, and that's a good episode of the show, Controversial, which is celebrating 10 years in April. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, support the Patreon for Platonic Reversal. Just
for the
$1
love of
a
fucks,
month.
Support that Patreon, please.
Yeah, $1 a month. You can get the episodes early is the big thing.
Yes. And I got a Matt Kronk from Quee and Cunts and Fake Legs, and Steve Albini's coming up again, and let's see who else.
Sorry, what? You're interviewing Albini?
Yeah, for the fifth time.
What? How did I'm so sorry. I need to catch up. That's amazing. That's awesome. Sorry, I'm old.
It's almost comically more popular than this show, which is why it's funny that like hopefully that will change.
I'll check it out. I'm sorry.
But like I wish that there was more crossover.
I just need to catch up on all my friends' amazing projects. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I know that already.
It's what I do. I'm just amazing. It's what I do.
You are. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
And speaking of a lot of words too, Conan Neutron and Secret Friends is the band. You can go
more words. Why are there so many words? There should be fewer words.
But you have neutronfriends.bandcamp.com where you
No
can get
words. There should be fewer words. More and more people are saying words, and I'm tired.
Yeah, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com for Conan Neutron, the Secret Friends music. Adult Prom is the last record, our split with Lung. We were actually just on Mike Watt's show. That, by the way, we recorded that. It's not like a quid pro quo situation. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that just happened to work out that way. We worked that out like months ago, but that was we were on Mike Watt's show talking about the split. And by we, I mean me and then Daisy and Kate from Lung. And it was a great appearance. His show's great. It moves. If you think this show moves fast, Jesus, see Mike Watt's show.
Yeah, and if you want to see more Conan, you're taking over This Is Revolution for an episode.
Oh yeah. Next Thursday, I'm guessing
Platonic Reversal.
this is Platonic Reversal. Yeah, I am guest hosting and like producing and like it's Neutron Land. This is Revolution next week. So I know a lot of there are people that watch this show and listen to this show that come from that world. So I'm not going to reveal what it is just yet. But it should be good, and that may not be the only time that happens, is all I'm going to say. But like, I'm very excited and honored. I was a part of that show before it was even called This Is Revolution. And Jason he's not only an ex-bandmate of mine. I mean, he's played in Secret Friends. There's no ex-bandmates usually. And is an incredible talent, but that's a great show. So yeah, next Thursday, it's going to be a Platonic Reversal, an hour earlier, and then This Is Revolution with me hosting. And it's going to be a bomber episode. So thanks for remembering, because I actually forgot all about that.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Look at you.
Yeah. I'm pretty clever that way. And of course, Christina's over there on Twitch right now, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes. No, not just on this channel, but on your own.
Thank you, StreamYard.
Yeah, finally.
What a time to be alive.
Finally, StreamYard is like,
And if you're do you have anything? I know you're doing the Barbieheimer interview, right?
Yes, I'm gonna do that after. I might not have to stick around because I really want to get some sleep, but I'll hang out for the after part just a little bit.
You're doing the Barbieheimer interview, right? That's what you're doing. It's Barbenheimer. Come on, dude. We covered both those movies.
I can hear.
It's the old Heimer Barben.
Sure to ask Steve how he really feels about Stevie. I'm probably not going to do that, Stevie. Like I don't actually care, first of all, but I get it. Love Albini's work and Surfer Rosa. Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to react to that, I guess?
Yes, that's the only thing I'm doing. I'm going to bed because I need sleep. I've been up for 36 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm off my meds.
I mean, I want to know more, but also go to bed.
Yeah, well, my grandmother fractured her hip, and my mom's been stressed, and we've been working. It's the holidays. I have not time to do anything, and I got a party to plan next week.
I'm sorry.
But if you want to help out Christina, she has a Patreon over at Patreon. Yes. Patreon.com/cosmopolitics.
Yeah, that's a good place for a Patreon to be, is on Patreon. Yes, I agree.
My Patreon's on YouTube, and then my YouTube's on my OnlyFans, and my OnlyFans is on my live journal. So
It's all in my Friendster, actually. It's in the comment section of my live journal.
It's all connected by threads.
Oh, you know what? I thought that was a goof-ass name, but actually now that does make sense. Okay.
Makes sense now.
Come on. It's all connected, people.
Yeah,
Everything's connected by the threads. The threads. We're all connected.
I've been on threads for years, but it's just been those little red strings.
The lack of sleep is starting to really affect me right now.
Threads, that's what I'm hanging on to with this show. Get on with it already.
I
told my Discord.
I was on threads when it was just called string.
It's good. It's good.
But yeah, we just wrapped up a season over on Give Them an Argument with Ben Burgess. So, but stay tuned. There is something in the works that's really cool that I produced for that's going to be debuted while we're taking our break. And I have no details beyond that. So
you get a break? Wow.
Yeah. So,
what is that?
What does that feel like?
Well, wait until you see what I did.
We can't wait.
It's going to be great. But I can't. I'm not saying anything about it other than just one of my favorite artists.
All right, big things coming.
Big things coming. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Big things are coming.
Well done on Christina spotting the starship thing with so much lack of sleep, and almost immediately, by the way. And I knew she would, and that's why I said
know
it.
The difference. I know Jefferson Starship. I know Starship. Like, come on.
You know, airplane, Jefferson airplane.
Yeah, like seriously.
You got Starship, Jefferson Starship, Jefferson
Airplane,
Thomas Jefferson. All of them. We got them all. What do you want, kid?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why Christina and I work very well together. Which, by the way, stay tuned for our Oscar special. We're gonna have a whole month of Oscar movies, and if you thought the special was good last year, which it was, it's gonna be even better this year. You're welcome to be on that if you want, Bonnie. No
I'm sorry. Is this what are you talking about?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Is it special? You said it was an Oscar special? Is it
Yeah,
to watch
Oscar special.
I don't.
It's
yeah,
our
I'm
show is better than the actual Oscar special.
You know what's weird?
It
I
is.
don't have any live TV anymore. I just have streaming, so I don't even know how to watch it.
You better tune into Movie Night Extravaganza then, because we're gonna have there's plenty of people that they thought that's what they were tuning
Ryan Gosling
into.
sings "I'm Just Ken." That's gonna be so
Is Barbie up
glorious.
for anything? I mean,
Well, nothing's been announced yet. So.
But we got.
21st, I believe. Is it the 21st, Christina? That they're
Yes.
gonna announce the nominees. I think
January.
We're gonna do a bonus stream.
well, if the documentary I'm in is up for Oscar, I promise to just wear a GoPro and take you with me.
Hell yeah!
Not that I would be invited, but I'll go.
It's
Go where you want.
It's never stopped you before.
Do what you want to do.
All right, Andy, what's
I
next?
think that's it for the plugs. I've been waiting for Forrest to take it away with the with the final
All right.
thoughts. Unless anybody else has anything.
Jefferson Killdozer. That's such a narrow-casted comment, but I love you, Stevie. That's so good.
That's a great roller derby name too. That would be a good roller derby name.
God damn, that's
Well,
rock
since
solid.
it's his birthday, Conan, let's hear your final
What?
thought.
Okay, well, hey, look, this is one of the best sci-fi films around.
Seinfeld?
Okay, come on. One of the best sci-fi
Blade
films.
Runner, Jerry.
All right, can we do a second take on that? One of the best sci-fi films around, monumental vibe, style and storytelling, decor, lighting, and world building are shamelessly emulated to this day. And this film essentially started a new style of high-tech noir. It's overwhelming and immersive, and the discovery of the sentience of the replicants is one of the truest dystopian visions of all time. Also, global domination of corporations, technology advancements in the name of capital, and a shocking divide between the haves and the have-nots. If any of that sounds familiar, there's a good reason why. To say nothing of the ethics of artificial intelligence. There is no cyberpunk without Blade Runner. And either way, this is a paragon of science fiction. I mean, what is a CAPTCHA if not a dime store voight contest, right?
Hey,
Philistines.
I was talking about Blade Runner, and Twitter popped up with one of those tests to see if you're human things while I was tweeting promo for
I
them.
hate this so much. Oh my god.
Fantastic. Philistines, clods, and fools call the story and screenplay weak, while the vibe belonged to things like Drive My Car, and all the driving movies. Foolish. This is the rare time where the movie is better than the book, which also rules. All the numerous changes are for the better, and with the final cut, we really have the all-timer film that we deserve. Do androids dream of Electric Sheep's biggest problem is there's too much plot. So the whole concept of mercerism alone, it could be its own movie. Maybe it should be. This is lean, mean, sparks the imagination, gives us much to think about, such as the potential tyranny of man's creation over the creators. And we are all over here, hoping for a Rachel, while somehow knowing we deserve a righteously indignant Roy Batty.
All right. I like that. I like that sounded almost written. You know what I mean? Like, it sounded like you had it in front of you. Like, you ended it nicely. Bonnie, final thoughts?
Yeah, the next time you go on a date, try to do the void comp test. See if you're actually dating a human or not. But as someone like myself who actually married R2-D2, I say robots are better than humans. So that's my final thought. I would date a replicant and stay dated to a replicant over a human any day.
Well, I mean, at least the version of like till death do us part is like 4 years. Like you're gonna be dead in 4 years.
I am just waiting for. I'm a robosexual, and I'm waiting for Android. I'm waiting for any kind of replicant Tinder.
It's better than being an amosexual.
Are you telling me that you're in the film R2-D2 Beyond the Dome?
No, that predates our relationship. So
Okay.
we have an open source marriage. We have an open source marriage, so we can whatever.
See, R2-D2 Beyond the Dome sounds like he's finally getting married, and you know.
No, he hooks up quite a bit in that though. You should.
Yes,
check
he
it
does. R2 fucks in that movie.
out. Yeah, he's a bit of a player.
This is classic after party material, by the way. Should save this for the patrons.
Christina, you got some final thoughts?
Yes. Whatever happened to Sean Young? The end.
Oh, she's in some really great horror films that came out last year.
Good for her. Hopefully she overcame her alcoholism.
No, I didn't say that, but
I'm just saying. She's had it rough.
She has. Great actress, great actress. And other stuff, go check her out.
Thanks
Maybe.
for enduring
Yeah,
to
I don't know.
hang out on the stream, Christina. It's appreciated. I appreciate you. No one else does. I don't know about them.
Christina, thank you, Christina. I appreciate it.
Hey, I was in Christina's Twitch chat at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I was just twitching.
Overnight
I was just
streaming.
watching at 3 a.m. Nice, Andrew.
Andy, you've somehow ended up being the last final thoughts again.
Well,
If you say glory holes, I'm gonna fucking turn this stream around.
I am not going to be bringing up glory holes.
Okay.
But well, you know what can be said about Blade Runner? Because like it really is just an all-time classic. You know, Batman the animated series truly I think I mentioned this briefly, but like there is a lot of the mise-en-scene of Batman the animated series that really borrowed from that. And if you're a fan, like there's actually episodes where they have the toys that Sebastian created in it. Like there is and they even brought in Sanderson. You know, what was it? Is that right? Did I get his name right? The actor. The actor who played Sebastian, he's actually in the TV show on playing a very similar type character. And you know that I remember watching that episode of Batman and Blade Runner, you know, right around the same time. And so like that's kind of that was one of those movies which was a sea change for me. And I think for a lot of people of a certain age, apparently not younger people, I don't know what's wrong with them. But this movie is in need of a renaissance, and I think
culture in general.
I think partly, partly I think the reason why people are not vibing with it is because there's too many obnoxious fans, like the toxic, like Scorsese bro type people who love this movie, and ignore them. Just watch the movie because it's a fucking good movie.
It really is, almost objectively so. Well done,
Yes.
Andy. That was good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, so Friday we'll be back streaming. We're doing Tuesday and Friday things again. We're doing After Yang on Friday.
2 in a row, yeah. After Yang with Zach Marsh.
Yeah,
which should be great. That was a great movie. And then Ex Machina with Renee Ruin from The Night Shift that Bonnie is on.
Renee, yay.
Yes, we speak her name as well.
We've been
And
having
KT.
like every 2
That's
weeks,
right, yeah.
pretty much. Every 2 weeks, Renee comes on. So she like does Night Shift and then she does our show, and it's like that's her podcasting quota.
She does a lot. She's a hardworking podcaster.
I feel like if there ever was a show was this Renee, Bonnie, and Conan, like the plug section would be 3 hours long.
It probably would. Why don't we just call this show Plug?
Actually, wait, didn't we do that? We did that at least once, didn't we? Anyway, whatever. Nobody cares. Let's save for the after party. Come, we're doing an after party.
That was the first episode too. That was when we did Alien a year ago.
That's right. Was that a 5-hour podcast? I mean, I have to tell you, this is very short because Night Shift is always 3 hours minimum an episode. So I mean,
our one actual 5-hour podcast was with Renee.
With Renee. Yeah. So, I feel like we're still doing it.
I got so hammered by the end of that.
Hop on. Yeah, let's just keep going.
I felt like, dude, I like feel like I entered an altered state of consciousness by like the 4th hour. Like, what is happening? Because I naturally at about an hour and a half, because of my show, I always like instinctively try to wrap it up, even if I'm like, oh yeah, that's not what I'm doing here. Like I want to do that, but yeah, that was that will never happen again unless it's for money.
I mean, thank you, Conan, for popping into our comments in the Night Shift because you always have good questions in our show. So I appreciate the cross pollination that happens.
We love the Night Shift. Obviously, Jenna's obviously welcome to come on the show if ever she wants to do that as well.
Amazing.
If we want to do an actual like crossover, we never did like a real we did. We should do it. Let's do that.
Yes.
Why not?
We have the know-how.
We have technology. Have you done the movie, the original Cherry 2000 yet?
No. The who? The what?
Cherry 2000, the original movie from the 80s about.
I know it. I guess.
Maybe we should have Jenna on that one. By we, I mean you guys, and then I just sort of show up.
Huge fan of her work.
We'll need a referee to keep people on task, but yeah,
she's an OnlyFans icon. She's a retired porn star. She does.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar.
Okay, you know who she is, right? You were just asking who is she.
I actually didn't, but I think she's great on the show. I only know.
I gotta invite some of my friends who work in the industry too. We talk about movies like Boogie Nights and X, for instance. That'll be good.
Yeah, we talked about X on Night Shift, and yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Anyway,
all right, we have quite a few people waiting on the after party. So
all right, then
let's rein this in. All right, we're gonna jump over the.
If only we had a host
on the.